Welcome to Mic Drop, the podcast where relevancy is irrelevant and we don't give a shit about your feelings.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, it's a distinct honor and pleasure to welcome my next guest to the podcast. He is a former U.S. Navy SEAL for 6 years and conducted 2 deployments. He was a CIA contractor for 9 years, doing mobile security work, and accomplished 20 fucking overseas deployments. He is the current owner of Vigilance Elite, which provides shooting and tactics instruction as well as marketing consultation. He trained Keanu Reeves for the movie John Wick. If Dirty Harry and John Wayne had a kid, it would be him. And the last fuck that he gave is actually arm wrestling with the last fuck that I gave at the gates of hell. Welcome to the podcast, Sean Ryan.
Hey, thanks, Mike.
Yeah, I appreciate the hell out of you coming down here. I know, scheduling-wise, it's a bitch. I know you just moved to Tennessee, and with a fellow brother of ours passing tragically here, rest in peace, Scotty Wirtz. I know you attended his funeral last night up in St. Louis and made the trek down here, so I can't thank you enough for fitting us in. That's a big fucking deal.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. So in terms of kind of how I like to do this, I like to throw a little bit of a lightning round at people first, just kind of work the fucking kinks out and get the creative juices flowing. Not in a weird way, or maybe in a weird way. We are a couple of ex-frogmen, so it could get fucking weird. Who knows? One thing I do want to ask, just in terms of because it's so recent, what is your favorite Scotty Wirtz story? And for the listeners, Scott Wirtz was a former SEAL that was just killed in action in Syria in mid-January, and Sean went to his funeral last night, so that'll give you some context as to when this was recorded. But I know you were good friends with him and just came from his funeral. Do you have a favorite story that involves him that you could share?
I don't know if I have too many that are PG, but
the more XXX, the better in this motherfucker.
I didn't know him in the teams. I didn't meet him until CIA, and my ex we tried to track each other down for a long fucking time before I ever met him.
Yeah.
And his aunt, I believe, was teaching right across from my ex at school. And when there's not very many SEALs that live in St. Louis, and when we finally did track each other down years later, like years after I broke up with my ex, we shared a hotel room, getting ready to leave for a trip with CIA, and
you'll never be the same.
No, I will not be.
What's the Reader's Digest on that fucking night?
Well,
you got to think about that.
Yeah.
Maybe later. Was that fucking ridiculous, huh?
It was.
You gotta give us something.
Well, this is the only one that comes to mind, and we'll have to probably edit this out. But
no, there's no editing.
We had I don't want to say it, dude.
We'll try to drag that out of him later. We did put some Baileys in his coffee, so we'll see if we can't get him to loosen up. Hot sauce or spicy mustard? That should be easy, right?
Hot sauce.
What type of hot sauce?
Cholula.
Cholula? That's your favorite, huh?
It is.
That's the go-to?
Well, let me change that. Sriracha.
Sriracha. Really?
Yeah.
God, I hate that shit.
How could you hate?
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of hot sauce, other than actually, there's a buddy of mine that I went to high school with. We were on the swim team together, and you can fill in the blanks on that one. But and I'm gonna give you a free plug, Chris. You're welcome. Common Descent. Maybe it's Decent. I don't even fucking know how you pronounce it, but Common Decent or Descent condiments up, and he lives in Kansas City. He makes like these little, like almost like a microbrew, small batch hot sauces and shit. I got a bunch of them in the fridge. I'll let you have some, but they're amazing, and they're weird. Like, they have weird names and they have crazy combinations and shit. But they're if you like hot sauce and weird, kind of boutique fucking small batch anything, check Common Descent out. But we'll have some of that. I'm surprised you like sriracha. Like, to me, it's just kind of a generic fucking hot sauce. But
It's the hottest I can find. That's
you like it super hot?
I do.
Yeah, no, I'll get you hooked up. He's got some shit that'll make your fucking asshole burn. What's your least favorite cereal?
My least favorite cereal would be cornflakes.
Cornflakes. What about grape nuts? Grape nuts
That
are
sucks too.
yeah. Grape nuts are fucking terrible. Cornflakes are pretty boring. What's your best hazing story?
Best hazing story. You know, I didn't get hazed that much. I just got the shit knocked out of me.
Yeah,
But
for good reason or welcome to the club?
well, so when I jumped into my platoon, the guys that were the older guys had gotten hazed like really fucking bad, and they decided they didn't want to haze us, and at least right away. And so what they did was they kind of waited until I got a little cocky.
Yeah, which
And
didn't
then-
take long.
No, we were in Panama, and yep, I got cocky and got the shit knocked out of me in the Chagres River by Chad Wilkinson.
No shit. Was it just like a full-on ass beating, or did they do any like humiliation hazing type shit?
They just, kind of drowned me. So, a couple of blows to the head and then drowned me.
God damn.
Yeah.
Is that a shit river? Like, is it filthy?
No, it's not too bad, but it's full of, supposedly it's full of crocodiles, and it's a
shit.
feeding ground for hammerhead sharks and fucking anacondas. And
Jesus Christ.
we didn't find out until that night from the Panamanian guys, but yeah. And then it became, once the first one was out, then it became just a regular occurrence.
God damn. And so, about how many times would you say you got fucking leveled as a new guy?
I got it probably about 3 or 4 times in a month, and then I smartened the fuck up.
3 or 4 times in 1 month.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, it was.
I shoved my fucking mouth.
Well, so here's an interesting thing about that is that in our society, especially now, I had a short rant about Super Bowl commercials and how fucking lame they were this year, but as a byproduct of how soft our society has become. But I think that's one of the things is that I have 2 kids, and as they get older, like I see a lot of these other kids that they go to school with, or just kids around town or whatever, and how much fucking attitude they have. Because there's not a healthy respect or fear for any consequence whatsoever. It's kind of like whether it's dogs, kids, fucking loudmouth, cocky new guys in a fucking SEAL platoon is like, if you know that there's no repercussions, it's really easy to have a big set of nuts and talk shit and run your fucking mouth. But when you know that your mouth will be held accountable, it tends to fucking change your tune pretty dramatically. And I think that's one of the biggest things in our society that's lacking now is that ability to fucking hold people accountable for their mouth. And for you, we'll call you cornflakes, not even snowflakes, since we just mentioned it. Since you fucking cornflakes out there that get your panties in a bunch about, child abuse and all this other shit. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about beating people unconscious necessarily. What I'm talking about is that consequence or that physical response to somebody being way out of bounds in terms of running their mouth or not keeping their fucking ego in check or what have you. And I think if I had to pinpoint one element of our society that's severely lacking, it's that. I think that the byproducts of that single point of failure right there have been detrimental to our society. What were your thoughts on that?
I would agree with you. 110%. I can barely fucking stand it because there are no consequences anymore today, for what people say or what they do. And if they do, if you give them some consequences, then
you go to jail.
Yep.
There's
exactly.
consequences for giving consequences.
Yep.
No, I know it. It's a travesty. I think, we could spend the whole fucking time bitching about that. I bring it up pretty regularly, so I'll spare the the listener any more soapbox action, but speaking of along the same lines, my next question that I'm real curious about is, what is the dumbest shooting question you've ever gotten from somebody that made you just think, holy fuck, you shouldn't have a weapon?
Oh my God.
How much time do we have?
God damn, there's a lot of them. But you know, they're not always stupid, but I think because people are just, you know, people don't research things before they come out.
Yeah.
And so it's, I think, I don't know what the stupidest is, because I've had so many. But what really pisses me off is when people do zero research before they show up, and you train them, and they keep making the same fucking mistakes over and over, and it gets to the point where I sometimes I think people do it just to get attention.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and it's like. But how do you do this? And it's like, dude, like, we've gone over this fucking 20 times and 5 courses. Like,
at this point,
are you fucking serious right now? You know, and I don't ever act like that, but
at this point, you think you're on a fucking hidden camera show, getting fucked with.
Yeah,
waiting for Ashton to jump out of the fucking bush, telling you you're punked. Is there like a specific question though that's like? I mean, because like some of the fucking, I mean, I've had other shooting guys on here before, and just kind of shooting the shit with them. Like some of the stuff that they've said, I'm just like, holy fuck! Like people, whether it's loading magazines backwards or I mean, shit like that. Like
that shit happens all the time. But you know, like, to be honest, I run a really, really, really fucking lax course. Now I'm like a stickler on safety, but. I mean, I kind of consider my specialty as beginners, and I get people, they come out and they are putting bullets in the magazine the wrong way, and they're putting the magazine in the wrong way, and you know, I don't necessarily. I mean, I wish they would do a little research before they show up, but you know, sometimes it's like a 65-year-old woman who's never shot, and she realizes that today's different than it was 25 fucking years ago, and she needs to protect herself, and I can definitely respect that. You know,
to me, I mean, I guess I have a hard time busting old people's balls, like unless they're just assholes, you know. But, I guess, you know, for me, I have this like almost mental image in my mind of like some 23-year-old cocky fuck showing up and asking just stupid fucking questions. Or are you super selective about?
I'm very selective now. I wasn't at first, you know, because when I was first getting going, but now it's honestly, it's to the point where it's almost exclusively private lessons. Yeah. But I did, once I kind of started getting that crowd where people would show up just to like get a fucking picture with me, or you know what I mean, or heckle me a little bit. Yeah. That's when I made it more exclusive, and I was like, okay, I'm you know.
It's like the freelance gynecologist routine, right? Like, I'll take you. You come on.
Yep.
I'm gonna send you packing. That's fucking great shit. All right, so this is my my gold standard question I ask everybody. What does your morning routine look like? And that's, you know, what time you get up, whether you work out or not. If you do eat, what do you eat? Like that first, 3, 4, 5 hours of your day. What does that look like most days?
Well, do you want the
at home?
You want the what I'm supposed to be doing, or what actually happens?
See, here's the deal with Mic Drop: is it's raw and honest. So fuck what you're supposed to be doing. I want to know what Sean Ryan actually does to piss excellence first thing in the morning.
Well, I have a routine. I have alarm set, and the routine is supposed to be I'm getting up at 5 a.m., which I do get up, and then I got 30 minutes to spend on myself talking with my fiance, and then I do emails, and then I go to the gym, and I try to do everything within 30-minute increments to an hour.
Yeah.
What actually happens is I get up at 5:10. I go and I spend about an hour with my fiance drinking coffee and watching the morning news, and then I go to the gym, and then I go stare at my fucking computer and I don't answer any emails for about 3 hours because my ADD's kicking in.
So it sounds like Office Space.
Yeah. And then the end of the day starts approaching, and then I realize, holy fuck, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's when all the work gets done because I start cranking because I work good under stress.
Yeah. I am curious. So the thing that kind of piqued my interest was that the very first thing you do is talk to your fiance. I'm curious, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Like when you still have dirt in your eyes from sleeping, and like what does that look like? You guys just shoot the shit, or you hang out?
We do both. We just sit there, drink coffee.
So she gets up with you at that same time?
Yeah, we both get up at 5.
Do you guys work out together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do.
How does that go?
It goes good. We don't like, she does her thing, I do my thing, and
You're not over there being fucking Captain Globo Jim fucking personal trainer. Honey, fucking you're not breaking 90. Get that ass down.
Yeah.
You're not doing any of that shit.
no, she does it to me. But yeah, usually we're talking about, whatever the fuck is going on in the news and what we're going to do today, and that's
shit.
kind of our time.
Yeah.
Before the chaos comes.
So you don't eat anything?
I eat after I work out.
What does that look like?
4 eggs over easy with hot sauce and
Cholula or
avocado.
sriracha?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cholula.
Just 4 eggs, that's it, huh?
And some avocado.
Yeah. No shit. That's an interesting mix. Are you kind of on the keto fucking bandwagon at all, or sort of?
Whatever. Yeah, I guess kind of, but
Are you more of a low carb guy?
yeah.
Yeah. That's. To me, it makes pretty good sense.
Until I go to the fucking candy aisle.
Well, I go to the movies, then I get 4,000 grams of fucking sugar in a sitting. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from, I was born in Kansas City, and then I was, my parents moved around a lot, so I moved all over Missouri, all over Illinois, Iowa, lived in Germany for a little bit, and then the longest I ever lived anywhere was, 7th grade to senior year. So what's that, 6 years? Excuse me. And that was in a small town in Missouri, Chillicothe, Missouri.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's not too far from Kansas City, is it? Or is it south?
It's about 2 hours, I think.
It's south, right?
It's north.
No shit. For some reason, because I drive through Kansas City. I'm from Iowa originally. What part of Iowa did you live in?
Des Moines. My brother
shit.
was born in Des Moines, and then, honestly, I can't even remember the fucking name of the town.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know. It was a little bitty ass
Yeah. Fucking
Iowegian town.
No, I know that's how most of them are. But what was the reason for all the bouncing around? Were you a military brat or what?
My dad he commissioned when I was, in 4th grade, I think, and we went to Germany as a pharmacist, but he had a job where he would travel around and kind of unfuck pharmacies.
Yeah.
So he would get hired, go unfuck this pharmacy, clean it up, get it going, and then move on to the next hospital, unfuck that, and so it just bounced around
It's
everywhere.
like a pharmaceutical efficiency expert, huh?
Yeah.
No shit. How does a pharmacy get fucked up?
Well, they are dealing with drugs.
Yeah.
So
Everybody's high as fuck on
Yeah.
Percocet. No shit. That's a fucking. And that was in the as an Army officer.
Well, only 4 years of that
Yeah.
was as an Army officer, and the rest was all as a civilian.
God, I didn't even know that fucking exists. Is that what he still does?
Now he actually runs an ice cream shop. So
That's quite the shift. What was that experience like growing up, fucking bouncing around? I mean, because I had the exact opposite. I grew up in Iowa. I literally lived in the same house my entire fucking life, like same bedroom, same house, same school system, from the time I fucking can remember until I joined the Navy at 17.
yeah, I mean, it was fine. I didn't fucking know anything different. So that's just how it was. I mean, it was cool. I got to see all of Europe.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything there is to see by the time I was in 7th grade over there. And
What time span years wise was that when you were there?
I think it was 4 years.
Like, I mean, late 80s, 90s?
Oh, it would have been early 90s.
Early 90s. Fuck, that's awesome. What anything in particular that stands out as being not necessarily life changing, but impactful in terms of seeing shit in Europe at that age?
Yeah, a lot of the like the Holocaust stuff and
Yeah.
some of the World War II stuff and some funny shit too. I remember.
Yeah.
We went to London, and I think I was in I don't know, man, maybe 5th grade, and we got lost in the red light district.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
That's a high five to Dad. You didn't get lost.
Yeah, and I'm like, Dad, what the hell are all these ladies running around in these leather straps for? I like this. I like this
Yeah,
place.
he's like, son, you just keep your eyes open.
Yeah,
That's fucking great.
but yeah.
Do you think that there's an element of seeing the Holocaust stuff and some of the World War II memorials and same thing? Like, the first time I was over there, I was blown away and really, really impressed with how big of a deal it still is over there and how respectful they are about the America in that context. Do you think that there was any type of influence in terms of driving you to want to serve based on some of the experiences you had there? Or?
No, I don't.
Really?
Actually, just being honest. But I was fucking young.
Yeah.
But I do remember going to those places, especially like I remember going to the Eagle's Nest, which is actually
Yeah.
Hitler's hideout, and I was just like, holy shit! Like,
It's a badass.
there's a
fort.
lot of shit that fucking happened.
Yeah.
And even at that young, I was like, oh man, like this is like real fucking history
Yeah.
here. And then, but I wouldn't say it drove me to join the military.
Yeah. Even like subconsciously, you don't think it had an impact? To me, it would almost be hard that it didn't have some impact, which we'll get into the motivation to serve here in a minute. But in terms of siblings and shit that you did growing up, I know, or I guess I'm curious, like I would imagine that it would be hard to have any level of consistency in terms of, playing on sports teams or what I think most Americans or Western listeners, for that matter, would consider kind of a normal childhood as it relates to that. What was that like?
With sports,
Yeah, just with bouncing around and friends and sports. Like, did you have many friends? Did you play any sports?
I mean, yeah, I did. I started off playing baseball. I fucking sucked. And tried basketball, and I fucking sucked. And but I was always trying new teams, and I mean that's it. The good thing is it's a fucking great way to meet
Yeah,
friends.
Yeah.
So I was in soccer. I was always really involved in soccer, and
did you suck at that too?
I was actually pretty good at soccer.
Yeah.
And until I went to Germany and I was playing with the Germans, and then I wasn't so good.
Yeah.
But and then when I just really wasn't. I'm not going to say I wasn't athletic. I just fucking sucked at those sports. And then I started wrestling when I moved back to the States from Germany.
Yeah.
And I tried football. I was like 95 pounds
Yeah.
when I tried that. So,
Yeah.
that didn't go too good. But wrestling, I did stick with that. And
So did you refresh my memory from 7th to senior year? That was in Missouri,
yeah,
and so you wrestled the whole time.
I wrestled the whole time.
No shit.
Yeah.
What? Because I mean, with being from Iowa, it's fucking huge there. What? Were you always pretty light on the weight categories? Were you down 9,500?
I think I started at. I think my first was like 85 pounds
Yeah.
in 7th grade.
Yeah.
And then I don't even remember where I went to from that, but into 8th grade, and then high school was 112, 119, I think 125, and then 145 maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah,
How successful of a wrestler were you?
not that successful.
Varsity or?
Yeah, I was varsity all 4 years, but it was a small school, and I did have a fucking tough weight bracket. I wrestled a world champion.
Oh no shit.
Yeah,
Who was that?
TJ Hill.
No shit.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
and
How'd that go? You took a shot at the title, did you?
yeah, right. I got tech fauled in the first fucking period, but
That's better than being stuck, right?
Yeah.
Well, sort of.
I
don't know.
kind of.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
actually, no, I'm going to disagree with you because they're just fucking toying with your ass.
Yeah, it's like a cat with a mouse at that
Yeah.
point. Let you up, take you down, let you up, take you down. That's the good shit. It sounds like a bedroom routine, but we'll get into that later. Did you have any siblings growing up?
I got a little brother and a little sister.
What type of relationship did you have with them growing up?
I was pretty tight.
Yeah.
Still am.
Still are, yeah.
But yeah.
What's their story? What do they do?
My brother owns the ice cream shop with my dad, and then my sister is a like a real high-end hairstylist.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Where do they live?
Sarasota and Cape Coral, Florida.
Oh, okay. So they moved from Missouri down there. What, after you joined the Navy, or?
Actually, after I moved to Florida.
Oh.
After a couple trips into the CIA, I moved to Florida.
Yeah. What was the transition like from while you were in high school, wrestling, getting ready? Like, what was that process like for you in terms of wanting to join the Navy? Was there an external motivator, something within the family? What drove you to do it, and what was that high school experience as you were getting ready to go in? What did that look like?
What drove me to, I was kind of a turd growing up, but I still am. But, I didn't really know. I was always, when we moved to Germany, that's when Desert Storm was happening. And I remember getting all the books and the fucking playing cards and all that shit. And I was a G.I. Joe fanatic.
Yeah.
And, running around out in the woods and fucking carving spears and all that kind of shit. And I was always really into like the commando shit or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And then when I moved back to Missouri, I started drinking early, about 7th grade, and I kind of lost
You fucking
interest.
drinking in 7th grade?
Yeah, man.
No shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What were you drinking? Like beer or hard
Whatever
shit?
the hell I could get my hands
Really?
on. Yeah.
Your dad was a pharmacist, right?
Yeah.
Anything else in the
No, it was just booze.
Yeah.
And
fucking 7th grade?
yeah. And so anyways, I lost interest in
Everything.
pretty much everything except booze and chicks. And
Fucking old soul. You're like a fucking 40-year-old sailor in 7th grade.
I know, right? But I didn't know, my grades fucking sucked. And I was not like the superstar athlete. I didn't play football. I only wrestled. And I just didn't know what the fuck I was going to do. And then, me and my dad would go at it. And it came big argument happened. And, it's like, I'm not paying for your fucking college and blah, blah, blah. And I said, I don't really give a shit because I'm not going to fucking college. I'm joining the SEAL teams. And he was like really taken back by that. And I always kind of felt like I didn't really measure up,
Was there an element of a pleasant surprise on his end that you said you were?
Oh,
doing?
yeah.
Yeah. No shit.
Yep. It was like ready to, go at it.
Game changer, huh?
Yep. And then like immediately just, you wait, what? And yeah.
No shit. What? So, how was that? Was there? I guess, putting myself in your shoes, was there kind of if the not measuring up element is there, and his response is super positive? Did that motivate you to make it through, to be like, I'll fucking show you, type of thing? Or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There was definitely
Fucking
a lot
chip
of that.
on your shoulder.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was almost identical to that.
Yeah.
And I ran with a really athletic crowd, and those guys were always in the paper for fucking scoring a touchdown or winning a state championship in wrestling or whatever the fuck it is. And, I just didn't have it.
Yeah.
And so I never really measured up in the coach's eye, because you know how football is in high school.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I could fucking give two shits about it. But, that fucks with you. And then my brother was like a superstar baseball player, and I wasn't. And so that's the path I chose. And I was like, and my grades sucked. And I was like, I'm going to fucking show all
Sound like SEAL team material. Drinking in 7th grade,
Yep.
shitty grades, fucking bad attitude. You got upper level management written all over you. Mm-hmm. Promote that fucking guy. What was? Did you join right out of high school?
I did.
Yeah. What was the the process like from, let's say when you graduated until went to boot camp, and can you walk us through that process?
I mean, it was quick. I think we graduated end of May, and I was I was in boot camp on I think the 3rd of July.
Oh, no shit.
So yeah, I had a little bit over a month before I went, and it was. I mean, I was scared shitless.
Yeah.
The process was I didn't actually know that I was going to be a SEAL. I just knew I was going to join the military, and I had done a lot of research before. Me and my dad had our little, but I had tried to join the Marines, and I wanted to be Force Recon, and they're like, "Get the fucking, are you kidding me? Get out of here!" She's like $140, and.
They said, you're too smart. You're gonna have to go talk to the Navy.
Yeah, and then I went to the Army, and I wanted to be a Ranger. I wanted to be a Green Beret, and they told me to fucking pound sand and the Air Force I never did look at, but the Navy recruiter, it was all in the same hallway, and he kind of stuck his head out the door. He's like, "I got something for you might want to check out over here."
Yeah.
And so I went over, and I was like, "Wait a minute, you're telling me that I don't have to go do all this other fucking bullshit before I get in there?" And he was like, "No.
You can go right to SEAL training.
You can go right in there." And I was like, "Well, I'll be damned. Fuck it. Let's do it." And the rest is history.
Fucking recruiters. Did they get you an actual fucking SEAL contract to go straight in?
Yeah, I wouldn't have signed up if
I know they tell a lot of fucking people that, and those people end up chipping paint for 4 fucking years.
Yeah.
But he legit hooked you up, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, they had that. It was like a thing when I joined.
Dive Fair program,
the SEAL Challenge program or some shit, and I wouldn't sign anything until I saw it in writing. And I had some issues with my eyes, and I just fucking lied pretty much, and got in. Yeah. So
one thing that I keep coming back to mentally, did your dad know you were drinking in 7th fucking grade? Did your parents have any idea?
Yeah.
No shit.
They didn't like it, and they tried to stop me, but
so they'd bust you fucking drinking in 7th grade.
They would bust me, they would ground me, they would do whatever they had to do, and then I would just fucking walk right back out the back door and go do it again. I just
didn't give a fuck.
Was literally unstoppable.
Yeah. That is fucking hilarious, man. That's some shit I've never even... I mean, I'm surprised. As many team guys I know, I don't know anybody that was drinking like that in 7th fucking grade. That's hilarious. And don't get your panties in a twist. I know some of you are out there like, that's not funny. Shut up. Anyway, I know the comments are going to come in, so I'm just going to preemptively stomp them out. I don't want to hear it. All right, so the Navy career. You join the Navy, go through boot camp, you go straight to BUD/S. What BUD/S class were you?
I started in 240, and then I rolled into 241.
Okay. What happened with that?
Booze.
No shit.
Yeah.
Do you drink now?
I don't. I do drink, but not much.
Yeah.
I have a glass of wine at the end of the night to wind down, and that's it.
I'm surprised you at what stage in training did you get? Was it post Hell Week?
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, before that, they'd have shit canned you. I mean, I'm surprised.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't actually for drinking specifically, but, we got through Hell Week, and, I mean, you know how everybody is. I think you're unstoppable after that, and I'm going to fucking coast through now. And believe it or not, I failed the first phase exam.
No shit.
Yeah. And me and 2 other guys went out. SDSU's right around the corner. Went out partying, chasing chicks.
And you were fucking 19? 18, 19?
Yeah, 18 or 19. And I didn't study, and I fucking failed it and got rolled.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
I don't think I've met anybody that failed the first phase test until now.
Well, congratulations. Today is your day.
Fucking lucky day. God, that is fucking priceless shit. So you get performance rolled into 241.
Yeah.
I feel like, who else was in 241 that of note? I mean, I know everybody is, but isn't there somebody that's kind of prominent that's from 241?
Leif Babin was in 241. Cowie Mayeral, I don't know if you know him. Yeah. He was a really good friend of mine. still is, even though we lost touch a lot. But he was in that class. Fuck, who else? Seth Stone, who passed not too long ago, was in that class.
Yeah.
A lot of good fucking guys in that class.
Do you remember what the number of graduates that were in that?
I believe it was like 30 something.
Yeah. It's a pretty standard sized class. Anything in Bud's funny stories or shit shows or anything? I mean, we all have a million of them, but anything that kind of pops out in your mind as being worth mentioning for all the people that follow you and are listening?
Oh man, there's a lot of them. I will say I've never told this story.
It's a mic drop exclusive. You heard it here first.
But it's not like that great. But I remember in Hell Week, like I just wasn't hallucinating, and I kept waiting for it to happen. I'm like,
so I start drinking.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, exactly. But I remember I didn't hallucinate until like it must have been like the second to last day or some shit, and I kept waiting for it, and I kept fucking starting these conversations with people that weren't happening. And the guys would get so fucking goddamn pissed off at me because we'd be in that stupid fucking boat, paddling around, and I'd be like, hey, did you wind up buying those shoes yesterday? Because if you didn't buy them, I'm gonna fucking go get them. Like I really like those fucking shoes. And they'd be like, what in the fuck are you talking about? And then it'd be something completely different. But so.
Did you have any of the fucking like the trademark textbook actual no shit hallucinations? Yeah,
I did. I remember. What do they call that is it around the world?
Yeah.
We were in the bay, which is like fucking glass, and I thought there was a tidal wave coming, and I was Smurf crew, which we're almost always last. Well, we're fucking in first place at the time.
Yeah. For those of you listening, the Smurf crew, politically correct enough, is all the fucking short guys, the shortest handful of guys in Bud's, because just for a little backdrop, with the boat crews, you got these inflatable boats. The IBS is inflatable boat small is what that stands for. It's rubber boats that we run around and carry on our heads, and so boat crews in Bud's, specifically in first phase, are broken down. You're broken down by height. So if you got a guy that's 6'4" and a dude that's 5'6" with a boat on their head, obviously you can do the fucking mental math on that. Like it's not going to pan out so well. So they break everybody down into height. So the shortest 7 or 8 guys in the entire fucking class is what's called the Smurf crew. But everybody loves that shit. Go ahead.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, so we're paddling and we're like fucking stroke and we're leading and. I was like up front, and I just remember looking over, and I saw this huge fucking tidal wave coming at me. So I just like dropped my paddle, stood up, and fucking jumped off the goddamn boat. I'm like, this is gonna tip over. I'm out. Fucking jumped off the boat, and as soon as you hit that fucking cold water, it's like you're right back. Like, oh shit, what the fuck am I doing in here? How did I wind up in the water? And they wanted to leave my ass because they were in first place.
Yeah. Did you try to warn anybody, or did you just want?
I just said, "Fuck it, I'm out of here."
I'm not gonna fuck you guys. I'm out of here.
They were so fucking pissed off. But that, and then I remember also I don't remember where we were at, but how many times like the dolphins or the
mermaids, fucking
the seals are like swimming right next to the boats and shit.
Yeah.
And I remember there was like a school of dolphin swimming right next to us, and of course I thought it was fucking sharks. So again, I'm up front and grab my paddle and stop stroking, and I start trying to fucking smack these damn dolphins because I think they're sharks. And then the next guy stands up and he's trying to so
fucking, it's like the wave. One of the things I remember around the world, and again, for those of you listening, I think is it Wednesday night or Thursday night? Thursday night? It's towards the end of Hell Week, so you've been up for 4 or 5 days at this point, and you paddle out on the ocean side of San Diego. You go out past the surf zone, and then you paddle all the way around North Island or the island of Coronado. So it takes you all goddamn night. So you start out in the ocean, you go all the way up by Point Loma, in through the mouth of the San Diego Bay, and then down way the fuck down south into it. And that's typically where a lot of people hallucinate, because it's so far into Hell Week, A, and B, you're doing this monotonous fucking just droning on stroke, over and over. And that's really the only time in Hell Week where there's an extended period of time where instructors aren't in your ass.
Yeah.
And so all of those things combined, it's like a petri dish for fucking hallucinations. And I remember I jumped out of our fucking boat, but it was because I thought, I was convinced that a fucking semi was just barreling straight for us,
Holy shit.
I don't know what the fuck, like it may not even been anything, like it may not have, it could have been stars for all I fucking know, or maybe the skyline. I have no idea what triggered that in my mind, but same thing, like I was imagining this fucking semi just heading straight for us, and I dove right out of the fucking boat, and that was in the ocean too. But and I had some other weird squirrely, like I thought there was fucking mermaids and people swimming and weird shit. But
that could be fun.
Yeah, fucking mermaids. Smoke them if you got them. All right, so you finished with 241. No other problems going through buds at all in terms of performance or injuries?
No.
Right? Did you have a wish list? Did you pick East Coast teams?
I did. I picked. I just wanted to go to Team 4. And that's because I'd seen some specials on the counter drug shit going on down in South America. And one thing that also drove me, I really was just like infatuated with Vietnam guys.
Yeah.
In the movies and in the real guys, and like the whole jungle warfare thing, just really. Basically, I wanted to fucking go to Vietnam.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been my dream war.
Yeah.
And so I figured Colombia, South America, Bolivia, the counter-drug shit would have been the next best thing. And so they stuck me at Team 8.
Strike platoon.
Yeah.
When did 9/11, where was 9/11 during your career? What?
Right after boot camp. I had gotten a hernia right at the beginning of boot camp. I hit it all the way through. I had this big fucking knot that would
Oh shit.
Yeah, have you ever had one?
I haven't.
It's like this huge fucking balloon that just like pops out.
But it comes and goes, right?
Yeah, and I would just like push it back in.
Jesus.
And it was like probably half the size of my fist.
Did
And
you
I
have to
was
get
like,
surgery for it?
Yep. Yeah. But I wouldn't tell anybody because I was so fucking scared that they were going to drop me from the BUDS program, the SEAL contract. And so, but at the end, it got so fucking big. And, I didn't want anybody to think I was a fucking pussy either. So at the very end, like right before we graduated boot camp, I called the instructor over, and I was like, "Hey, I got this fucking thing going on, like, and
where was it popping out at?
Like right by the shaft, like not.
Can we see that?
Not in the sack, but right, yeah. So it's like, and he's looked at, he's like, "Holy fuck, man!" And I was like, "Well, like, don't fucking. Do you think I need surgery?" And he's like, "You need surgery."
I'm not a fucking doctor, but yeah, you're fucked up.
And I was like, "Well, I'm not doing it, and if I'm gonna get kicked out of the BUDS program." And he's like, "You're not gonna get kicked out of the fucking BUDS program, dude. Like, go get your shit fixed." So, anyways, I went like immediately into surgery right after graduation, and I came out, and I don't remember how many days I was out because I was all drugged up, but I was supposed to fly home that day on sick leave or whatever the fuck they call it. And the taxi guy, I was taking a taxi to Chicago O'Hara, and I was all pissed off. I was like, "Where the fuck are you? I'm gonna miss my fucking flight." And he's like, "Dude, I don't think you're going anywhere. You need to fucking flip the news on." And I did. And right when I flipped it on, the second plane hit.
Wow.
And I mean, like I was like, holy shit. I mean, just like everybody. But at the same time, I mean, I was fucking 18 years old, man, you know, and still too young to really, I think, realize the magnitude of what was in store for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it didn't change my course at all.
Was there an element of seriousness? I know you just mentioned that like it was beyond the pale of what you could really wrap your mind around, but did it make it more real for you at all?
It did, but it took a little bit. It took a little while for it to sink in.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was all doped up on painkillers but I knew. I think what caught me more than that was actually seeing the people I loved around me.
Upset.
I think they knew what was in store for me before I did.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I mean, especially as, you know, parents, I know like for me, I had been back, I was in between platoons. I was at Team 3 and was waiting on the next platoon to form up to jump in when it happened. So like I was driving to work at SEAL Team 3, you know, on the West Coast. We were behind a couple hours. So I was literally like in traffic.
Holy shit.
You know, in a fucking waiting to platoon up again. And so, and my first deployment, like SEAL Team 3 at that time, that was before Force 21. So, SEAL Team 3 was the fucking desert. It was the CENTCOM, you know, that's the Central Command, the Middle East team basically is back then. The teams were broken up into different regions, areas of operations in terms of expertise, operational expertise. Each team kind of had different parts of the world that they were responsible for, and SEAL Team 3 was the Middle East fucking team. So it was a pretty big fucking, you know, holy fuck, like, but you know, and I think similarly, I mean, for me at that time, I was 20, 21, 22, and I think it hit my parents and family harder than it did me. I mean, for me, like, we had already, you know, the Cole had been bombed and we responded to that. So, you know, it wasn't like there was some Disney World element lost on me or anything like that to where it was like, what the fuck? This is actually, you know, it wasn't that. I mean, I already been overseas. I'd already seen carnage and what Al Qaeda and Islamic extremists were trying to do to us. I mean, we fended them off from sinking the fucking Cole, for Christ's sake. But there was definitely an element of like, holy shit, like it just got fucking real, you know, immediately. It was an interesting position to be in. It was a good position to be in because I had that context of pre 9/11. You know, I came in when Clinton was still president, you know, and my first deployment was during his tenure, and Bush got elected, you know, while I was in my first deployment, but first platoon rather. But anyway, I'm always curious to talk to guys, you know, where they're at in their life with 9/11 that are SEALs, you know, because everybody has a different point in their life and how it impacted them. That's pretty wild. So I'm assuming you didn't make it home then.
Well, actually, I did. My dad came to pick me up, and we went home, and I remember like I said, it had not hit me yet, and it didn't hit me until I could, you know how you can just tell, you know, when people are kind of looking at you like, they're fucking worried, and their actions like is what then it hit me. You know, it took a while, but then when I saw that, I was like, everybody else is acting really weird. You know, some
shit's going on. So you finish up with that. You go to Buds. We covered that, but then once you went to the East Coast, you went to Team 8. What was that experience like?
It was when I showed up to Team 8. That's when we did. That's exactly, you said strike platoon earlier. We were a strike platoon, and
can you explain to people what that means?
Well, I don't even know what the fuck it means because it changed. But supposedly we were going to be on a carrier, and anything that happens, I guess you're like the first to deploy there. And the whatever AO the carrier's in. Well, then was it Force 21? Is that when everything went away as far as like the? There weren't
strike platoons, and just again for some historical reference for those listening. you know, again, prior to, each team had their own areas of responsibility. Once this was called Force 21, it's basically a reorganization of the entire community to where now each team deploys as a team, and they rotate teams. Whereas prior, there was always 2 platoons from every team deployed all the time to whatever that area of responsibility they had. And I have mixed feelings on it. I am in a unique position, and then I did a deployment, you know, prior to it, and then after as well. So, you know, seeing the effects of it, I think it makes more sense to do it the old way, but because I think that we as a community lost a lot of subject matter experts in different areas of operations. Now, obviously, as it relates to the Middle East, like now everybody is pretty much a subject matter expert on it. The problem is that, you know, there's very, very few guys with really good diving experience, like extensive diving experience. I mean, everybody does it, but, you know, I remember, you know, when there were different elements of the community that were fucking world-class divers. There were world-class, you know, cold weather fucking guys. There were world-class jungle and maritime guys. There's so little of that balance, you know, everything's so focused on, you know, desert, urban, assaults, fucking, you know, what we've been doing, which, you know, makes sense, but there's a pretty significant imbalance in the community, in my opinion, because of that. From my perspective, I think, and again, just to bring some context to you guys, the strike platoons are what he mentioned. They got rid of those. They got rid of the ARGs, which is Amphibious Readiness Group. That was the first deployment I did, which is where we were based off of a ship, which SEALs don't really do anymore. You know, they don't do sub deployments. They don't do lockouts. You know, there's a lot of things that aren't taking place anymore, which I think is a travesty. But so obviously that impacted you guys then, right? So you didn't do the strike platoon. You did
no, it changed so fast. They implemented that, and then we were no longer the strike platoon. We were going to Afghanistan. And when that came up, I was like, oh man, like, we're going to fucking get it.
Yeah.
And and then the surge happened, you know, and everybody surged over to, each team took 2 platoons early. And and each team took 2 platoons from the one behind them in the rotation. And so we surged over to 2 from 8. And, you know, we were, I mean, now looking back, I can't blame them, but, you know, we were going to Afghanistan. Then then we get switched over to 2, and they're like, you guys are going to take the UCOM. And it, like, fucking crushed my soul.
Yeah, and that's like, European Command for those listening.
Yeah, at Germany. Yeah. And, I mean, it was a fun trip, but I didn't fucking join the teams to have a fun trip.
Yeah.
You know, and my idea of fun was
getting after it.
Yeah, getting it. And I was pissed the entire fucking time.
Yeah.
And, you know, I knew my first platoon. I was like, this isn't what it's cracked up to be. Yeah. I'm fucking pissed. I didn't go through all that shit to come over here and fucking drink beer and chase ass around.
Yeah.
And I'm
not in 7th grade anymore.
Yeah, I already did this shit 7th grade. Okay, I'm not 13 anymore. but I was fucking real pissed, and that's when my attitude started coming out. Yeah. You know, we got to go. We went to Haiti, but it wasn't anything, you know, really. And we did some shit in Panama. Well, we didn't. It was just, nah, you know. It was cool because it was like the first real world op of anybody that was in my buds class, but nothing happened. Yeah. And then we went to UCOM, and then when you're in UCOM and you got, you know, the sit reps and shit coming in from the guys that are in Afghanistan, the guys that are in Iraq, and they're fucking killing, you know, 100+ guys on target by calling in CAS and everything. And I'm just like, I would get up and leave the brief. Yeah. I was so fucking pissed.
Which went over well.
Yeah. And, you know, it's like, you got to earn your spot. And that just, a lot of people hated it because I didn't have a bullshit filter, you know? And I'm like, dude, I don't need to earn a spot to go serve my motherfucking country, man.
Well, I mean, that's what Buds is for, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and, you know, but there was the pre-9/11 crowd, you know, and that had never done anything.
Yeah. Been sitting around for 15 years, and so they're like, motherfucker, we're going first.
Yeah. And that just, I didn't fucking care. I came in to kick fucking doors in.
Yeah.
And so that happened. And then we stayed at 2. And then I went to Afghanistan, my second pump. And I heard Eddie talking to Eddie. Eddie was with us on that one. And it was all right. We did, you know, some stuff. And it wasn't anything like crazy. It was right after Red Wings.
Yeah.
So, you know, everything had kind of like, everybody was, you know, it was the biggest loss up to date to that at that time. And we went home early. They sent the platoon home early. And
was it because of that?
It was, I'm not 100% sure what it was, because I was just a fucking low-level E5.
Yeah.
But I think there was a pissing match going on between Siege of Soduf and our admiral.
Yeah.
And so we left, and my platoon went home early, and I just went up to my chief, and I was like, hey, man, like, I'm not going home. And,
turns out I'm staying here.
And he goes, okay. And I was like, I want to fucking go. And, you know, to Iraq, or I want to finish the deployment out. This is my last one. I'm not re-enlisting. And he was like, well, we'll sit you in with the guys in Germany. And I said, fuck you. I'm not going to fucking Germany. I was like, if you send me to Germany, just send me home. I'm not fucking going over there.
Yeah.
I already did that shit.
So you, at what point did you decide, fuck this, I'm out of here? Was it on that deployment?
I decided it on my first deployment.
No shit.
Yep. I'm not shitting you, Mike. I was fucking furious.
Yeah.
You know, we did the Olympics in 2004, and we did some sniper overwatch shit for Bush in Turkey, and we did some like training with the comp swimmers, but it's a booze cruise, you know. Yeah. As fun as boozing with the boys is, that's not why I fucking went in. And it was right then. I was like, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
And then he's like, all right, I'll get you into Iraq. And I was like, fucking hey, man. So I went to Iraq, and
how did that happen? Like, did they just send you to augment another fucking team or platoon, or what?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I just jumped in with my sister platoon,
oh, shit.
Who had coincidentally just gotten there too. They were sitting on their ass in Bahrain. Yeah. You know, doing the same shit we were doing in a different country. Yeah. And they showed up, and I showed up a couple weeks later, and it was good, you know. And then
how long were you in Afghanistan for?
I think it was about 2 or 3 months, I think.
So your platoon went home?
Yep.
And then you went to Iraq and joined the sister platoon?
Yep. And Eddie Penny and the other guys that had jumped in from his task unit to go to Afghanistan went right back to their original task unit, and I just flew over with them.
Yeah.
And they went back to their task unit. I jumped in with the sister platoon, and they were doing PSD work, and you know, we were kind of like the bastard children of SEAL Team 2, because we were technically SEAL Team 8, but at 2. And I had a lieutenant that was a fucking badass, and he just got us on ops.
Yeah.
And
how long did you spend in Iraq then?
I guess it was probably, I don't know, man, maybe 5 months or 4 or 5 months probably.
Yeah.
But that's when the engagement, you know, we got to fucking go to war.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I could get used to this shit. And, you know, and like I remember the first time we killed some guys, and it was just, we saved a bunch of guys. We saved some lives, and it was fucking awesome. And then we started doing more of them, and I got the taste, but it still wasn't enough. You know, I had this image of, or this, I joined, I was young and really fucking hard to please. And I probably could have been going on 3 ops a night, and I would have been pissed off that we were back for breakfast. Like, I only wanted to operate. I didn't give a shit about gym time, movies, chicks, booze, anything. I just wanted to fucking operate.
Yeah.
And 1 a week wasn't enough for me, or 2 a week, or whatever the fuck we were doing.
So, I mean, with the resurgence of, you're getting your taste, you're like, yeah, this is what it's all about. My curiosity is, where was your mind at that point in thinking, like, what the fuck are you going to get out and do that's going to scratch that fucking itch then? Like,
yeah. Well,
I mean, I guess, or my question is was there, did that go through your mind as when you're in Iraq, like you're saying, it still wasn't enough? What was your mentality like? What was that thought process like of saying, okay, yeah, now I'm going to get out and I'm going to do this and it's going to be better?
It wasn't exactly get out and do this because it's going to be better. God's honest truth, I was so fucking scared that I was going to waste another fucking 2 years doing a piece of shit UCOM that I couldn't. I was like, you know what? I love this right here. Like I stood in front of, I was like, I'm fucking re-enlisting, and they ginned all the paperwork up, and I went in and I was going to do it. And then I told the Master Chief, I said, you know what? I've wanted to get out for so long because that UCOM was such a disappointment that I feel like I have to get out and at least try it, and then I can always come back. And he's, believe it or not, he actually respected that.
Really?
And which I was scared shitless to say it.
Yeah.
And but I was, and that was with, we were getting like $90,000 re-enlistment bonus for 4 years and tax free over there. And I said, I have to fucking try. I'm sorry, man. I have got to fucking try it.
What was the it that you were wanting to try?
I just wanted to get out and see if I liked it, because I had, I was big into reading business books, and I read, actually Trump's book is the first one I read. I was watching funny CNN in Guantanamo Bay, and I saw this fucking, I didn't know who the hell he was. He was on Larry King Live and came out with this new book, and I was at the airport or something and saw the book that in one of the shops, and I'm not even a reader. I'd probably have read 10 books in my day. I just don't have the attention span. I read that one cover to cover in like 24 hours. Couldn't put it down. And
was that The Art of the Deal, or was it different?
It was
because it was before that.
I think it was. No, it was after that. It was like How to Get Rich, I think. Right?
Some original shit.
Yeah.
How to pull ass and get rich.
But
like an unoriginal bastard.
Yeah, but
Get rich.
I couldn't put it down. And then I started reading more. I read some of Robert Kiyosaki's shit, and it was just really fucking inspiring.
Yeah.
And I have a really creative mind, and so the wheels started turning in the business world, and I was like, fuck, man, I want to be a business guy.
Yeah.
And it was like, do I want to keep going to fucking war? Do I want to be a business guy? And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to try being a business guy. And if it sucks and I can't stand it, this stuff will be here.
Yeah.
This war isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And, there's obviously a huge shortage of SEALs. Otherwise, they wouldn't be handing out $90,000 re-enlistment bonuses to fucking 24-year-old kids.
Yeah. What at that point, like, so you're reading these books, you're inspired to be an entrepreneur. Did you have did you have that thought process in mind of how you wanted to be a business guy? Like, did you know right away that you wanted to incorporate weapon shooting, things like that, or did you have other ideas?
No, I didn't have any idea about starting what I'm doing now, and I had no plan. I just said, fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah.
And I had bought a house, and that was in 06 when the housing boom was going on, right before it crashed. And everybody in the teams was buying houses. And I think I had my first house like at 21. And guys were just buying shit left and right. And actually Dom Razzo had like a fucking real estate empire down there. And I was like, fuck it, man. So I just showed up at I showed up in a real estate office, and I was like, I would like to buy a house, please. I had no idea. Like, are you approved for a loan? I'm like, what the fuck
that?
is a loan? And anyways, got it, sold it, made a good amount of money on that, and then got out at the same time. Like, I sold it and got out. Like, I think it was almost the same fucking. I mean, it was like the same month, and so. Here I am, still a young kid, already kind of, been there and done that a little bit, and with all this money, and I'm ready for the next chapter of my life. And so I got into real estate, and because I was like, oh shit, like I just bought this and sold it.
Yeah, it's
and
too
I
easy.
made a bunch of money. This is fucking easy. And that didn't happen.
Then
Didn't
the bubble
happen again.
burst. This was on the East Coast, Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
With that in mind, then, like, I'm still curious, I guess, if you have that entrepreneur bug, like, what was your mentality or your thought process when you're getting out saying, I'm going to try that? Like, what was that you wanted to try?
That was real estate.
Okay.
I wanted to get out, and I wanted to flip homes.
Yeah,
Because that was huge back then.
Yeah.
And so
That was going to be the thing. And
that was going to be the thing. I was going to fucking start the real estate empire.
Yeah.
But so it didn't happen.
Did the bubble burst, and that is that what kind of, I hate to use the word manipulated, but almost forced you to go into the CIA contracting world, or did you decide to do that before?
No, actually, that didn't come until I realized. I realized the fucking empire isn't happening.
Yeah.
Like,
The empire is more like a fucking squatter's tent.
yeah, yeah. I bought one house and dumped a shit ton of money into it, fixing it up, and lost my ass on it eventually. And I became a real estate agent. That was fucking horrible. But then I joined I got into a fire academy, and that's right about the time I realized I fucking hated civilians.
Yeah.
At that time. I don't anymore, but I mean, I was still shitting food from Afghanistan or Iraq, and I tried. It was like a year, and I tried flipping houses, real estate agent, went to school, joined the fire academy, and then I had a friend tell me about the agency.
Yeah.
So I said,
Fuck it.
yeah, I missed that shit. Fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I did.
Yeah.
So
You basically decide that, the CIA contracting gig is for you. Tried the fire academy, you hate civilians. What was that process like? I know, I had a lot of buddies that did that same gig, but I'm curious, like, what was that process like for you going from what you were doing and integrating into that, and what you can share? What was that like?
the academy or the agency?
The agency, like,
Well, actually, I didn't actually know what the fuck I was getting into at first, because everybody's so hush-hush about it. And so basically what had happened is I had sent a friend of mine told me, hey, you need to try this. I was like, fuck you, I'm not working for Blackwater. I've seen those dipshits. And he said, nah, this isn't Blackwater. You might want to check it out. And
this is even dumber than
yeah, he goes, by the way, here's what we get paid. And I was like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me I get to go back to war and I get to get paid this much?
Yeah.
And so I was like, fuck it, man, here's my resume. And, that's the short version. So it did actually, what happened is it took forever because it's the fucking government. And I actually started on a Department of State contract.
Yeah.
Which was
that a static security thing?
oh my God, dude. It was the worst.
Like manning a gate guard type thing?
Yeah. Yep. I had no idea what the fuck I'd signed up for.
Yeah.
But I went over, I did this static security gig for Armor Group, and they pitched it like, hey, you're going to be in charge of this fucking emergency response team.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, that sounds cool.
Well, they didn't tell you it was an emergency to shitters being backed up.
Yeah. So pretty much. So I had to go through this stupid training thing, and I showed up, and I'm like, what? Why am I the only soft guy over here? And but I was like, well, fuck it, man, I'm here. And they're like, no, you're different. You're gonna be.
Yeah.
We're putting you in charge. I'm like, all right, well, fuck it, whatever. So obviously, I fucking blew that course out of the water, deployed, and found myself at the front fucking gate at the embassy in Kabul. And that lasted about 2 days.
Yeah.
And I said, fuck you, eat a dick. I'm out of here. And they're like, well, hold on. They're like, I'm like, well, one, the pay is like a fourth of what you told me I was going to get paid. And these motherfuckers are getting blown up like all the time. I'm not standing at a fucking gate. I'm just like, this is fucking ridiculous. And so they put me in the emergency response team, which is standing right behind the fucking gate in a fucking Bearcat. And I don't want to sound like a fucking prick, but I'm not fucking sitting in a fucking Bearcat, and I sure as fucking not sitting at a gate. So I said, fuck you, eat shit, and jumped on the next thing, smoking back to the States. And right when I got back to the States, that's like coincidentally right when I got the call, like, hey, we got your package done and we're ready. So I went home. I had I think 1 week, and then I went to try out and for.
Is there anything about that tryout that you can share, or is that all fucking disclosure bullshit that you can't talk about?
No, I mean, it's the shooting quals are tough. I never was that good of a shooter, and I mean, I thought I was a good shooter until I went to that.
Yeah.
And I was like, we don't fuck around on anything other than the 25-yard line out here with handguns. Yeah. And there's a lot of guys that can't hit shit at the 25-yard line.
Yeah.
And it's under time, and it's it's from concealed, and everyone fails it.
Yeah.
So
including you.
Yep, I've failed it before. Yeah. But and it was really my first time working with everybody from different units. You got SEALs there, you got SF there, you got Recon there, you got Delta there, you got Damneck there, and it's all these guys, and with all the similar backgrounds. And I mean, you can imagine the fucking chest pounding that goes on, and the egotistical maniacs.
Yeah.
And
fucking dick measuring.
Yeah, constantly. And you guys do it fucked up, and you do it fucked up, and that sifting through that kind of shit is a real pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But the shooting quals were tough. I will.
What about the physical aspect? Were there like physical fitness tests that were pretty legit too, or was it just shooting?
Yeah, there's a physical fitness test, and believe it or not, guys fail that too. I didn't think it was that tough. Yeah. I'd never have really thought any of the fitness tests were that tough to get into anything. Yeah. To be honest with you, but that was not. It wasn't like buds or anything where there's like you're going to do it every day. It's show up, this is what you're doing, and it's pass or fail. Yeah. And that's it.
In terms of mental stress and pressure, was the cadre similar to SEAL cadre in terms of mind fucking you a little bit, and whether it's timelines or just trick fucking you with tests or whatever? Like, was there any of that?
Yes, but in a different way. So they're not like yelling and screaming at you and shit, and you don't really know what the fucking standards are. And so you might, like with the shooting quals, it's like, well, this is what you're going to do in this amount of time, or this is what you're going to do it as fast as you can, and this many rounds.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, like, what's my score need to be? And like, nah, they don't even answer.
Yeah.
It's just like, from the 25-yard line, from concealed in this amount of time, or is not in this amount, 2 shots, and blah, blah, blah. And then the fucking timer goes off, and you're just like,
Yeah.
and I mean, you're shooting for, fucking $250,000 a year job, and that's
plenty of
that's
stress.
a lot of stress in itself. But and the same with the fitness standards, and then I guess it's not really a class, but tryout to tryout is different. But in the requals, you get to know that shit. But
Yeah.
on my initial one, you didn't really know the standards.
Yeah. How long is that whole process?
It's a month.
So fucking every day, or?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a fucking dick dragger. Like I said, I have a number of friends that have been through it. A couple of them asked if I wanted to come on, and I was always in positions where it didn't make sense to. But I've heard similar stuff. But I appreciate you laying that out. So you make it through that. You passed everything successfully enough to qualify or make it through that first time, or?
Yeah.
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 What? So from there, did you go straight into rotating and deploying, or?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. They've always had like a big shortage, because I think we had like 15 guys, and 3 of us passed. And
God damn.
yeah, and so you're right out the door.
3 out of 15.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Is that that's normal?
Yep. Yep.
Jesus. I didn't realize the fucking attrition rate was that goddamn high.
Yeah. It's surprising, and it's surprising.
So here's a question that I'm curious of now, is that with what you do for a living now, how long you did it, do you think that standard is commensurate with the job? Like, do you think that month-long selection process accurately reflects, like, it needs to be what it is to get the quality of product to have the guys doing what they do? Or do you think that could be revamped and get more guys through that are good enough to do the job?
I think I've always been a big fan of high standards. Do they need to be that high? Probably not, because there are other things, in my opinion, that I think feel like they're lacking.
Yeah.
And they have very high shooting standards, and then some of the other standards are kind of like, well, this doesn't fucking really
Yeah.
equal out. But but I will say this: it shuts motherfuckers the fuck up.
Yeah.
So you get a guy coming out, who's done, had an impeccable career, and is you know what I mean, and
They don't give a fuck.
they don't fucking give 2 shits.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know how it is. I mean, guys get out, and when you get all those different units together, and it's everybody's fucking talking shit, and we're better, and blah blah blah. Well, when you fail,
Yeah. Now
you
what?
better shut your fucking mouth. You know what I mean?
I don't care what your service record
Yeah.
says. You just failed.
Exactly. It's like, well, yeah, here's your performance,
Yeah.
and see you later.
Yeah.
And so I really fucking like that aspect, because
Yeah.
you get these loudmouths, and then
I was tier 1 for 19 fuck. Yeah, well, you still failed.
yeah. And
Yeah.
but and I like the high standards too, because it fucking keeps the real shitbags out too.
I mean, that's the one thing. I never did any overseas contracting. I did some here stateside for a few months right when I got out, but doing similar shit, teaching, basic pistol and rifle fucking marksmanship, or, tactical marksmanship, I guess I'd call it. But one of the things that I heard from a lot of guys that I served with and have kept in touch with over the years is that, especially in that like 06, 07, 08 window is when it really, like the 03 to 06 was really tight standard wise, high caliber guys, all pipe hitter soft dudes, but more and more contracting groups come into play, and they're undercutting everybody else, and they're hiring beat cops and reservists, and lowering their standards. And now it's like, fuck that, I'm not going with this crew of fucking bozos over there that don't know what they're doing. Did you experience that same kind of thing in terms of an outsider looking in to appreciate the standards of what you're talking about?
Yeah, I did. And, well, one thing, I just backtracking just a second, they lost a lot of fucking really good guys because of those standards.
Yeah.
And because of the shooting thing.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, man, if you would like look at how this guy is actually as a fucking operator, working under stress and being able to, basic command and control, shoot, move, communicate, and, become a leader. They fucking lost a lot of fucking good guys that they don't realize, like, the potential that they could have had if they would have brought them on, just because of a ridiculous fucking shoot qual.
Yeah.
And now going back, yes, there were some slip knots.
Yeah.
And it kind of seems just like anything, when the demand is up, the standards fucking drop a little bit. But, or you get, just like anything else, it's fucking political. We all know guys that have gone to different units here and there, and it's like, what the fuck is that idiot doing over there?
And then other dudes, you're like, how the fuck did he not make it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, I feel like a lot of that is ego. It's like, well, he did more shit than me, and I'm going to belittle him to make myself feel better. So you fucking stay over there.
Yeah, the pissing contest power trip that some of the cadre have. Yeah, that's too bad.
And unfortunately, that's a poison, when you get over there, because then you do have a fucking slipknot that got in politically who's not comfortable in his own skin, so he tries to measure up to everyone, and then team cohesion goes to shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I guess it shouldn't be that interesting. I mean, it's that way everywhere. I mean, you talk to firefighters, fucking cops, federal law enforcement, fucking other government agencies, whatever. Like, that element exists everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't think anywhere is immune. What corporate America, fucking you name it. I mean, it's too bad that the human condition is what it is as it relates to that. But all right, so you satisfactorily complete that, and now you start rotating. What of the places you rotated and what you did? I know there's a lot that you can't share. What can you share in terms of where you went, what you did, and any stories that you can share from any of that time?
I can't really get into like the real specific, but I mean, the one thing about that is, like they say, like mobile security or whatever. It is so much more than that, and because basically what they have is an element that is damn near all special operations guys from all the different units. So, and they never, they don't. Sometimes it was almost like they didn't realize the full capability of what they actually fucking had.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, what I was in wasn't a bunch of old, beat up, retired
Master Chiefs that are fucking coming back to.
I mean, they had guys that were young and very fucking capable, mixed with some of the older cats. And once they did kind of start realizing, like, man, like, these guys fucking bring a lot of shit to the table.
Yeah.
Then they started using us for a lot
less traditional,
more stuff.
Yeah.
And which I really, some of the shit was really fucking annoying. But if you get like a good, like if you show up to a place that has like a really good fucking leader that is not a fucking turd and realizes that capability, you get in on some really cool things that I never even would have thought of.
Yeah.
And then like one thing that's really cool about the contracting thing is running into guys that you hadn't seen in years.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like fucking reunion.
Yeah. And like I remember one time I was in Afghanistan, and did you know Rick Smothers?
Oh yeah. Captain?
Yeah. So
the captain.
I show up to this place, and that guy's there. And I'm like, I don't know who the fuck he was working for or anything. I just saw him.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? And, I was like, holy shit. Like, what's that guy doing here?
Yeah.
And, I mean, he's like fucking 70.
Yeah.
And humping around in the mountains, whatever. Anyways, we're sitting on this rooftop, and there was a team out that got into a tick. And
That's a gunfight for you civilian assholes. I'm kidding. No.
And we're just sitting there shooting the shit, and the guys get into a tick. So we jump up on the rooftop, and we're like watching them through the binos. And he's like, why the fuck did you get out of the team so quick? And I was just honest, I was like, man, I'll tell you, like, it started getting political. I wasn't doing what I wanted to do as much as I wanted to. I was, whatever, that whole thing. And he's like, yeah, that's why I fucking got out too. And I'm like, dude, you were a fucking Vietnam guy. And like, now you're here. Like, you didn't get out. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And we're sitting there having this conversation, and like, pretty much board shorts and flip-flops, watching our boys get into a tick, calling fucking Artie, calling an Artie on him, on the bad guys.
Support.
Like, why'd you get out? Hold on just a second. And then boom. So anyways, I got out for this, and I was just like, this is fucking unreal, dude.
That's fucking priceless. Yeah, I mean, Christ, he was a captain the last time I ever ran into him or saw him, but that's fucking wild shit. Can you mention anywhere where you were at?
I mean, I was all over. I did a shit ton of work in Afghanistan, all over Afghanistan. And like, I know that damn near that whole country like the back of my fucking hand.
Yeah.
And then I took a short break and went and did some anti-piracy shit. And actually, me and Scotty Wirtz both left at the same time and did that.
Yeah.
And
can you tell us about the anti-piracy thing? That's something that people ask a lot. Like, why isn't there more fucking dudes on ships? I'm like, there actually is a lot of fucking guys on ships fucking whacking people that are trying. Can you share your experience with that?
Yeah. It's like
a video game.
It is. It's like the most boring job in the world until the fucking pirates come.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're literally just sitting there. By the way, I've never been on a ship until I did that.
Until you're out of the Navy.
Yeah. And I mean, you're just sitting there eating chow and watching TV, and there's no fucking internet or anything, and playing grab ass with the other guys on there. One guy sits up in the bridge and watches. And then when the pirates come, you jump up there. Now, you would think like, oh, this is fucking easy. Which most of the time it is. It's like they're in like little canoes and with a 45 or whatever on the back of it. But they started getting smart. And one time we were coming, and they started like probing too. And they would set up like a no shit L ambush. And I think one time, we had like 13 ships or 13 boats.
No shit.
Yeah.
How many of you were there? Four of them.
And I was like, oh shit, like, this part's not going to be as easy as I thought. And
were you guys armed? Was the armament fucking just small arms, or did you have anything heavier than that?
All we had were small arms.
Yeah.
So, and
no grenades or anything.
Nope, just fucking M4 pea shooters, man. And that one actually just wound up being a probe, believe it or not. But yeah, they had like 6 or 7 ships on this side, 6 or 7 ships or canoes or whatever you want to call them on this side, skiffs is what you call them, and like lined up, damn near perfect formation. And
they had AKs and shit, or
AKs, RPGs.
Did they shoot any? Did they ever shoot RPGs at you guys?
No, I'm not at mine.
Yeah.
But and then that time they fucking backed off. Now when we did have them coming at us, they were in like twosies.
Yeah. They just get fucking smoked, and that's the end of it. Jesus Christ.
And they, you know, what's funny is they wear fucking body armor. You know,
They fall in the water and fucking drown.
Yep. So, but yeah,
Jesus fuck.
yeah,
Fucking brilliant.
but it lasts like
8 seconds.
yeah, and then
It's like being in the sack. Really, it's
yeah.
over pretty quick.
It's like I don't ever go get a fucking burger now. But
Fucking Christ. So how long did you do that?
I only did 2 pumps.
Yeah.
The first one was on an Indian ship, believe it or not.
Good food on that, huh?
Oh man, dude. And
What's for breakfast? Curry. Do you have any snacks? Yeah, we're having curry.
Yep, exactly.
How about lunch? Curry.
Curry. And yeah, I remember one night I was up there on the bridge doing like pulling duty or whatever you want to call it. And I'm just sitting there looking out the window. You can't see fucking anything. And I feel this hand slide on my ass and like
There you go.
squeeze it. And I was like, because it's pitch black, you black out when you get over into the like off the coast of Yemen, and in between Yemen and Somalia, you go blacked out. And this fucking hand grabbed my ass, and I'm like, what in the fuck? And I had heard these fuckers in the bathroom, you know, doing their fucking thing, and you know, I turn around
So
and
I
I'm
arched
like
my
I'm
back
ready to start swinging, and this fucking guy, like I fucking shine my lap. What the fuck are you doing? And, you know, like scared the shit out of him. Like, dude, don't touch. I know it looks good, but
So I'm arching my back and looking over my shoulder.
Right.
Jesus fuck, that's great shit. How long were the pumps, the deployments, whatever you want to call them? How long were they? A couple weeks?
Yeah, like about a month.
Yeah.
About a month. And then the next one was an American ship.
Yeah.
And, you know,
So then you were okay with the
fortunately,
grab
I
ass.
didn't have anybody squeezing my ass cheek on that one. But, yeah, 2 pumps, and I was kind of like, I'm fucking bored, man.
Yeah.
And so I went back to
With the CIA contracting stuff, were there instances where you got into full blown fucking gunfights or IED blasts or things like that? No different than combat, or was it pretty benign?
a little bit of both. A lot of them were like real quick, you know, engagements or whatever. But there's like a lot of assassination attempts.
Yeah.
And it's just I've been run out of safe houses, and I thought I was going to fucking die multiple times.
Yeah.
What,
Because it's pretty. I never did that, but I had a lot of friends that did. Like there, you're fucking hanging it out, right? And there's just a couple of you, and you're nowhere near anybody else.
It's both. You know, sometimes you're at like a headquarters and there's a fuck ton of them, and you're right next to, you know, all the SOCOM and JSOC elements, and it's, you know, there's a fucking shit ton of assets. And then next trip you might be like really fucking hanging it out there.
Yeah.
You know, with like 4 guys.
Yeah.
And I liked being out there with 4 guys, and or at the outstations where there's nobody, because it can get real fucking interesting real fast. Now the shitty part is
You don't have much
nobody's
backup.
coming to get your ass.
Yeah.
You know, but
Could you put a number on the amount of gunfights you got into while working for the CIA on their mobile shit?
I don't know if I would say it's like straight gunfights, but engagements. I was never in like, I wasn't in Benghazi or anything like that.
Yeah.
But fuck, I never actually counted that.
What do you think? It's dozens?
Probably.
Yeah. But I guess for people listening, I think we're some folks may get turned around or get it twisted, is that the nature of that is very reactive and defensive.
Yeah.
Right?
If you find yourself in an engagement, you have fucked up.
Yeah. And
Somehow.
and the longer it is, the more you fucked up, right? I mean, like, it's break contact and get the fuck away, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Any stories of that you can share that people might find interesting?
I mean, let me think of one here.
Or what is there one that stands out in your mind that was like the hairiest, that you were like, holy fucking shit, that was close, or something like that?
There was one that I was in where they had to send, we got ran out of a safe house, and it was bad. It was supposed to be the second biggest, or it was supposed to be a bigger push than Fallujah in that area. And we had gotten compromised and run out of there, and it was about 12 hours.
Can you explain the, in air quotes, being run out of a safe house?
Fucking overwhelmed and surrounded in all directions. And it started with a couple of suicide guys, and then they took a building, and then we were along like this river. We were the only fuckers down there, and there were some Brits down there, but
How many of you were there?
maybe shooters, there was probably 4.
Yeah. God damn, and there's a handful of other guys, we'll call them other guys.
Yeah, and who were pretty much
Useless.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and that's one of the times I was like, yep, this is how it ends.
Yeah.
You know, like, so fuck it, let's just jump on the roof.
Yeah.
And but we wound up, getting out of it, and
That was a 12-hour fucking ordeal.
yeah,
Holy
yeah,
fuck.
right around there.
And were you engaged most of that time, like off and on, or?
Yeah, it was. Yep, it was off and on, constantly.
Same question, armament-wise, all small arms, or did you have a little better armament?
Oh no, we were armed.
Yeah.
We had good shit, and we had good shit.
Yeah.
and plenty of it.
Yeah.
So thank God.
Yeah.
But like the ones that stick out to me are always like the real quick ones, because you're always under cover, and almost always, and it was you might be on somebody for years,
Yeah.
and you might just be a small piece of a fucking picture. You have a huge picture trying to put little pieces of a puzzle together.
Yeah.
And it's just always like amazing. Like in the SEAL teams, when you go to do something, you're going to get into it a lot of times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like you're going to fucking kill people.
Yeah.
And with this, it was more, you're not trying to be seen,
Yeah.
and you're completely undercover, and like just one wrong move and you got guys trying to kill you. Sometimes they get tipped off before we ever even head out the fucking door.
Yeah.
And
But and it happens stupid fast too. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's blink of an eye, and it's like, holy fuck, right?
yeah, I mean, I remember one time we had this huge thing going on, and fortunately I can't fucking get into specifics, but it was a lot of moving parts, blah blah blah. Guys were all over, and I was kind of like running the whole thing, and I'll be damned, man. I put my fucking head down for 2 seconds, looking at my GRG, one guy wasn't in the right spot. He was like, hey, I can't fucking hang here, blah, blah, blah. I'm over here.
Can you explain GRG?
GRG is like kind of like it's a grid of an area of operation. So basically you got, your Y axis and your X axis, and it's like I'm at fucking alpha 4 or whatever. And you just, alpha's here, 4's here, boom. And that's the grid square they're in.
So that's specific to you guys. So like if you're calling shit over the radio, only you know where that's at, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it would be like if you gave me a map and then I drew a grid over the top of it. And
Instead of doing like a grid coordinate where everybody would know where the fuck you're talking.
Yeah.
I got you.
And because it's imagery.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, where the fuck is that? All right. And then they're just explaining where they're at. I put my head down for felt like 2 seconds, trying to figure out where that team is now at. Lift my head back up, and there's a guy fucking stitching up my window. I have no idea how the fuck they knew who we were, where,
or where he even came from.
Yeah. And boom, there was a hit.
God damn.
And yeah.
Did in all of the 20 or so deployments, rotations that you did, those are usually a couple months?
Yeah, anywhere from, most of them are about 60, 90 days.
Yeah. In all of those deployments that you did you ever lose any of your guys?
Yeah. Not right next to me, thank God. But yeah, I know a lot of guys that have been killed on that contract, and yeah.
Yeah, I have no doubt. Well, I know some of them are mutual friends of ours, but yeah, speaking of loss, I mean, there's been such a heavy price paid, and I know a lot of times people listening, and even us, we joke and laugh and remember a lot of the good shit. I think it's out of respect for the fallen, it's important to take a minute to talk about loss a little bit in terms of the impact that has. I spoke pretty in depth with Eddie about it. I like to talk to most guys about it because one, I think it's important from a grievance standpoint or grieving standpoint, but two, to obviously honor them and never forget. How has loss impacted you? I would say both personally and professionally. As it relates to doing that for a living, did that impact you significantly?
While I was doing it, it just made me want to go back more and more and more and more. And as much as I fucking hate to say it, it's so many guys have died. It's almost, you
get numb to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, for sure, this is one of the things we talked about, Eddie with in the last one that just came out, was that desensitizing to it. I know it's impacted me. How has that impacted you in terms of personal relationships, with almost kind of deadening your empathy and sympathy and emotion as it relates to loss and grieving and feeling that way? Has it impacted your personal life?
Yeah. We're always, from fucking day one, week one, it's always drive on. And that's just what it's become. It's become as much as I hate to say it, it's normal.
Routine almost.
And Scotty wasn't the first, and he sure as fuck isn't going to be the last. And I listen to that podcast, and I think all of us have very similar. I heard you say, I don't really get excited and I don't really get depressed, and that's how I am too.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean just with death.
Yeah.
It's it's
all
I could hand you $1 million right now, and you're not gonna fucking shit your pants and jump up and down and be like, It's like, yeah, thanks, man.
Sweet.
Yeah,
appreciate you.
Yeah, and it just and.
I think a lot of we'll call them normal people have a hard time with that. They're like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
They're like, "Why aren't you more upset or why aren't you more excited or whatever?" And it's like, "Fuck, I don't know."
I know, and actually, I could go on all day about this shit, but and I'm probably getting sidetracked here. But one thing that I start fucking feeling guilty because I don't show the emotion that I know that they're hoping to see. And sometimes I don't try to fake it.
Yeah.
But I feel like this fucking guilt. Man, I know they really went over the top right now, and they're not getting what they wanted to see, and that fucking sucks.
Yeah,
because
the reinforcement principle that they're looking for.
yeah,
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you, and I think it plagues our community probably more than most. I think because you don't tend to see that in a lot of other elements of society where people are that way. I think the EMS, first responder, military, it's only all of us combined 1, maybe 2%. Cops, fucking firefighters, you name it, that see that shit and go through losing comrades and coworkers and stuff regularly. And seeing very traumatic shit and whatever. And I think I wouldn't even say hard. I think it borders on impossible for people that haven't been through stuff like that regularly to where their senses have been deadened a little bit to truly grasp and understand why it is the way that it is and how it is that way. But, I think it's good to talk about it, and to let people that haven't been through hear our perspectives to understand what that mental process is like for most of us. But anything else you can share loss wise in terms of guys that you lost on in that same project or program that you can share?
I mean, it's just always hits home,
Yeah.
and I think what bothers me the most is when I fucking can't stand, it's one thing if you die and you're in the middle of the fight, but when guys get killed by a fucking V-bid, that just fucking crushes me.
It's a vehicle-borne IED for those listening.
Because they just, you're just gone.
Yeah.
And, I think it's pretty safe to say that everybody that has a job like that, it's almost like you want to be doing that.
Yeah.
You want to be in the fight. You can't, fuck, that's why I got out of the fucking teams, because I wasn't getting enough.
Yeah.
And when a guy gets killed by a fucking IED, I hate that, because I know they did not fucking go out the way they wanted to, and that just fucking rips my fucking heart out, man.
Yeah.
But
no, it is. It's a tough way to go. They all are, but yeah, there's that element of wanting it to be, almost, like it's written in a fucking script of being on a rooftop or, in an alleyway or, in a room fucking 8 feet away from somebody and they get the best of you or whatever. And it doesn't always happen like that, unfortunately. But on a little bit of a lighter note, the relationships that you form in those capacities are pretty amazing too. I know, I'm closest with the guys that I've worked in that capacity with, and always will be. But what was the transition like going from, doing that, still obviously having an entrepreneur bug? Where did those things kind of meld and come together, ultimately getting you into what you're doing now?
I didn't leave CIA to start my company. I actually had no fucking clue what. Kind of like the same deal with the teams.
Yeah.
I'm an impulsive motherfucker.
You just knew you wanted out.
Yep. Well, there was some things going on that I didn't fucking agree with, and I did what I thought was the right thing to do, which wouldn't have changed a thing, and I left. And when I was standing up for what I thought was right.
Yeah.
And I knew I wasn't going to be back if I did it. But fuck it, I did it anyways. And I had I just didn't want to be the 65-year-old dude that's still fucking
on a rooftop talking about.
Yep.
That's why I did it.
Because I as impulsive as I am, I'm also a fucking thinker. And I look at those guys and I listen to people, and it's always the same fucking thing. It's one more I'm gonna one more fucking good one. One more fucking.
It's almost like a drug addict.
It is exactly like a drug addict, and you do get fucking addicted to it, and it's never gonna be enough.
Yeah.
You could do.
Or money.
Yeah, it's just never gonna be enough, and so that's why I did. I was I was like, well, I know this is the right thing to do, and if I do it, I'm never fucking coming back. So I'm gonna seal this motherfucker right now. So anyway, so I had no clue what the fuck I was gonna do. I just know I didn't want to be over there anymore, or it was gonna be really fucking lonely life. And so I was at home sitting on my ass, blah, blah, blah. And then, I feel like terrorist attacks just started. It was like kind of like a lull. And then when they came back, it was boom, 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 boom. It was, France, Belgium, fucking Orlando, San Bernardino. It was just boom, 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 boom. Yeah. And with all that came a lot of footage, cell phone footage. And I saw people that don't have a fucking clue what the hell they are doing.
Yeah.
They don't know how to think. They don't know anything. And so I started Vigilance Elite.
Does the name stem from something?
Well, when at first I was doing the same thing everybody was doing, and it was Trident Security or fucking Frog, whatever, whatever tactical. And I was like, that's just not me, and then the name changed quite a few times, and then I was just in the gym one day, and for some fucking reason it just popped in my head. I remember every single time, both with CIA and with the SEAL teams, we would head out the door. It was always stay vigilant, keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
And I was like, stay vigilant, stay vigilant, stay vigilant. Then I was like, vigilance. And then I was actually going to do originally it was going to be, well, not originally, but it was going to be vigilance until I realized I couldn't trademark that. And then, so I had to switch it up. And then I thought, well, everybody is fascinated with elite special operations units. Yeah. And I want to make civilians elite.
Yeah.
And so.
Have you thought about doing like a more low-key mom and pop or average franchising, maybe call it Vigilance Mediocre? Just put it all over the country.
No.
I had you going. You were listening. Yeah. You're like, oh, you're serious.
It's like, wait a minute.
We'll get into that here in a second. I am curious when you talk about standing up for what's right. Can you share that, or is it just a bunch of fucking bullshit that you don't want to get into?
It's a bunch of bullshit that I don't want to get into. I can just say that
is the gist of it is like
it was a shitty leader.
Yeah.
Team cohesion was completely fucking broken.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as a contractor, you have no recourse.
Yeah. Shit out of luck.
Or if you create a wave, that they can't ignore, then that's, you ain't coming back.
Yeah.
But I know it was the fucking right thing to do, and I would do it again 100 fucking times.
Yeah. To me, that I love to hear that, and that one, I'm a big don't have any fucking regrets kind of guy. But to me, that principled approach of fucking doing what you know is right, even if it means you're cutting a paycheck. I mean, there's been a few times where I've done that at the time was a fucking detriment to me financially. But in the long run was absolutely worth it and ended up being, I wouldn't call it a blessing in disguise, but panned out for the better,
Yeah.
And I think, to me, living your life like that, you just will never fucking go wrong. I'm not Tony Robbins. But to me, like if you take that approach of taking that pregnant pause before you make any big decision and say, what's the biggest bang for the buck? Like, what's the big impact you're going to have, and what's the fucking principle behind it? Don't worry about the right this fucking second monetization aspect or or anything else that's the flash in the pan, like, quick win, think long game, chess game, long term, and just fucking do what's right. If you take that approach with every life decision, in my opinion, like, you'll be doing all right, but
Yeah.
and it sounds like you take a real similar approach to things that way, huh?
I absolutely do. I mean, I actually, I always, for as long as I can remember, I've always thought about, I don't know why, but I always worry about what people are going to think of me when I'm fucking dead.
Really?
I do. And
That's surprising.
yeah, I know.
For as I don't give a fuck as you seem about everything else.
I don't give a shit what they think now, but I just,
Yeah.
I always fucking think about that. And, how you want people to remember you when you're dead might change. Like, there was a fucking time where I wanted people to remember me as the biggest fucking partier that ever roamed the earth.
Like back in 7th grade.
Yeah, but but I always, however I want to be remembered, that's how, But I have always been, I feel very honorable and very overly honest,
Yeah.
and that's, and I follow that to a T.
Yeah. To me, you seem very principled, which is rare and refreshing. But and I think if everybody lived that way, the whole world would be a far better place. Be honest, be principled, and everybody makes mistakes. I certainly, from a principled standpoint, I'm big on that. Do I fuck up in that regard? Absolutely, I do regularly. But to me, like the goal should be to strive to live that way. But it's good shit. So in terms of Vigilance Elite, what was that, when you decided, okay, I'm going to start this, can you give us the synopsis on what that was like, starting that out and any struggles you had or what it was like getting it started?
Oh, man, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started out, I was just, what I really wanted to do is teach mindset, but how the fuck do you do that? Mm-hmm. It's, you can't. And the excuse me.
That Bailey's is fucking working you over.
Yeah. The longer it goes on, I realize that's just impossible. You get mindset. I believe you get mindset through having experiences. And if you've never had a fucking experience where you've been scared shitless or thought you were going to die, or you know what I mean? You're never going to be able to think like how a lot of people want to think, or they pretend like they think like that. But you never really, would you agree with that?
100%. To me, it's, and the reason why I would say I wouldn't even say that I agree with it. I would say that I believe that to be a fact, and here's why. With dogs, their confidence sometimes is genetic or draws off of their genetics. Most of a dog's confidence, and the reason I use dogs as an example is the same reason with like CBD oil or medications or whatever, that one of the beauties of dogs is that they are the petri dish. They are the pure guinea pig in that there is no placebo effect. You can't talk them into doing something. You can't make them think, well, I'll bet this supplement's going to make me fucking huge. Like, it either fucking works or it doesn't. It's very face value, incredibly black and white, and that's one of the things that I value most about working with dogs day in, day out is that everything is really fucking contrasted. And where their confidence generally comes from, just like with kids too, is building that confidence and exposing them calculatedly to certain stressors, and you're raising that threshold for their ability to take it. And to me, with people, that is in essence what mindset is if you have a positive mindset of, I'll take a bite out of this shit sandwich and I'll ask for a fucking another one covered in Cholula, is that, you get that attitude from being faced with adversity, nutting up, fucking barreling your way through it and coming out on the other side okay. Not necessarily unscathed or, ultimately victorious, but the fact is you came out and you survived. And that's what makes you confident going into the next one, is you're like, well, I know I can handle this. Well, I know I can fucking handle that then. And to me, it's one of the neat things about dogs, again, is that, we expose them to all these different environments that will sketch a fucking dog out, flash bangs, fucking gunfire right above their head, fucking sirens while they're, intently using their nose and super focused on an odor, and all of a sudden this crazy loud fucking sound distracts them, whatever, working through all that. You don't take that dog from, 10 months old, having never seen that, throw them into a fucking SWAT environment and expect them to do well. Like, they're not. They're going to blow their fucking anal glands and run away. If you structure that exposure right, just like with people, then you can build this dog that now doesn't give a fuck about anything, and is super confident, tail up over his back like a fucking scorpion, and will walk into the gates of hell and be like, who wants it, and so, yeah, I mean, to me, it's absolutely that, that mindset, whether you want to call it confidence, mindset, attitude, whatever is, that, to me, if you haven't been through that and you have that, it's manufactured. It's a peacock feather line of bullshit, So, yeah, I couldn't agree more. So in that, so you realize, like, well, fuck, you can't teach that, so you got to put people through it to teach them that, or is that?
Well, no, I don't do that. And actually, when I was just hearing what you were just saying, that's exactly how I fucking teach, and it's way off topic, I guess.
No such thing on the mic drop. Everything's on topic.
Whatever. Let's fast forward, I guess. One thing that I saw was a fucking huge gap in the training is you got these guys with this tremendous amount of experience coming out, and they're teaching people, and mixed in with the fucking posers.
Yeah.
And, but what does everybody fucking do? They all think that their fucking clients are like going to take fucking Fallujah down tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I mean, for fuck's sakes, I've seen people run a handgun course, and for the first time ever, somebody's shooting a handgun, and after lunch, they're doing fucking simunition shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what in the fuck are you, and there's this huge push for induced stress. Well, basically what you were just saying with the dogs is you add a little at a time.
Yeah.
If you push too much fucking stress onto your client, you're immediately going to shut them down, and then the learning process is completely done.
Yeah.
And probably forever.
Yeah.
Because people are already scared shitless of you because you're a fucking SEAL.
Yeah.
They're scared shitless of the gun because it goes bang real loud and it kills people.
Yeah.
And you act like a fucking dickhead and you push too much stress on it and it's shut down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what I really pay attention to is I'll add a little stress at a time until I find that mark, where they like, that's all they can handle.
Yeah.
And it might just be initiating the drill, screaming threat.
Yeah.
It might not even be that much, and but you gotta slowly find that point and then really work with them and make them feel comfortable, before you even begin to induce stress.
Yeah.
And off topic, but I really feel like that is where one of the ways that I've really been able to separate myself from the competition is this whole, the whole tough guy shit. It just doesn't fucking work. People don't want to fucking go to Baghdad.
Yeah. And as prevalent of a or significant as a presence as you have on social media, I'm real curious to get your take. I know what mine is. I'm curious to see if yours is the same. Is that social media, specifically Instagram, is such a double-edged sword. There's some unequivocally amazing fucking elements to it in terms of guys like you and I being able to reach enormous audiences, and I'm not saying that I know everything or that you do or whatever. Please don't take it that way, and that like we're the only ones that deserve a platform. No, fuckers, that's not what I'm saying. However, is that you get kind of in touching on what you just talked about, the internet tough guy shit and whatever, is that Instagram is its own worst enemy, especially when it comes to, I see it in dog videos all the fucking time, like protection dog or police, SWAT, military, high speed bite work type shit. And I see it all the time in shooting stuff, is that, people, they'll see somebody do something, right? And they'll be like, that's what I need to be doing. Not realizing that there's 3 fucking years of really basic shit that took place before they got to that point. And so you've got like droves of fucking people doing really stupid dog training stuff that, like, for people that know what they're looking at, you're like, oh my fucking God, what are you doing? I'm assuming it's the same way. Can you touch on that?
Oh yeah. I could go on about this shit all fucking day.
I mean, to me, it's like the SHOT Show crowd, right? Like,
yeah,
most
which
of the
I can't stand.
Yeah, most of the people that show up there, like the dog component is small. I'm not trying to cut you off, but the dog component is small. But most of what you see there, I look and I'm like, oh my fucking God, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Please touch on that, and I'll shut the fuck up for a second.
I mean, when you see these guys and they. I mean, like I said, there's like the real deal, who just because you're the real deal doesn't mean you can fucking teach. And then there's the fucking posers out there who are teaching shit that they get creative.
Yeah.
But like with our guys, or, like with similar backgrounds as us, there's just nobody wants to touch on fundamentals. And I think part of that is some of us get just so used to that tool, i.e. the gun or the weapon or whatever the fuck you want to call it, is that you forget the fucking fundamentals. Like you don't forget them, but if I asked you to teach me how to walk, how the fuck are you going to do that?
Yeah.
It's like, I stand up and I put one foot in front of the other.
Like it becomes so second nature that
Exactly.
you forget that it's part of the process.
Yeah, and I think guys, one, they don't have the patience. 2, they don't want to teach that. They want to get straight to, CQB and simunition and all this other shit. And 3, I think a lot of guys aren't comfortable in their own skin.
Yeah.
And so they portray this fucking tough guy shit because that's what they're so used to. They feel like I can't, you see a lot of this. My fiance calls it fun is for pussies. And I must be a pussy because I love to have fucking fun. Yeah. But, they can't break that, and it completely shuts everybody down. And, man, I'm like way off topic here, I know.
No.
And then the guys that does attract are the fucking phonies.
Yeah.
And I wind up, believe it or not, I fucking fire those clients.
Yeah.
I get the guys that they're the big preppers, right?
Yeah.
They want to spend fucking $100,000. I have some high-end clients. They want to spend $100,000 on guns and ammo and night vision and this and that. And I'm like, can you fucking run to that mailbox over there and get the mail for me? And they can't even fucking do it. And it's like, yeah, you're a hell of a prepper, man.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get it. Yeah. Like, get the, it's just not my people. That's not, I want to train the person that wants to learn the fundamentals and wants to work their way up to that stuff. But God's honest truth, most of the people that are interested in learning the fundamentals are comfortable in their own skin.
Yeah.
They don't want to be a fucking operator.
Yeah.
They want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a fucking business guy or whatever. And those are the people that I reach because it fucking cuts all the bullshit out.
Yeah.
They're not, asking me what holster I'm running and you can cut all that fucking nonsense out, get straight to teaching, and then because you're relating so well, the whole better relationship is going to happen. And yeah, I mean,
well, so that leads me to a question that I know how I feel about it, but I'm curious to get your take. Is that I don't get asked near, I'm sure, what you do in terms of what gun I'm running or what ammo I like or what holster or what fucking grip or sights or whatever. Is that a ghost trigger? to me, like there's an element of fundamentals and basics that has to take place with everybody for them to have enough experience to have a personal preference.
Yeah.
You know, is it like if you're coming to me, and again, like I'm sure mine is a fraction of a percentage in terms of what you get approached with, but it's like, you know, go take a few courses, go, you know, put a few thousand rounds downrange to understand what you like, what you don't like. There's so many factors and variables that are going to dictate what you like or don't like, or what's good for you in the situation you're going to be carrying a gun in or utilizing it, is that there isn't a fucking blanket answer. I mean, it's a lot of that way with some elements of dog training. Is that your take on that, or what do you think?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And people have a tendency to overthink everything. Like, I'm just going to try to think of an example to work with the training. Is, I don't know, if I'm going to go, well, what kind of treats should I use?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. It's a fucking treat. Use a treat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they like cheese, steak, fucking dog bones, whatever, pig ears, like whatever. It's a reward. You're missing the whole thing here.
Yeah.
It's a reward. It doesn't matter what kind of fucking reward.
Yeah.
It's a reward.
Yeah.
And
well, and for dogs, I mean, it depends on the dog. I mean, there's dogs that don't give a fuck about hot dogs, and there's other dogs that'll take your fucking thumb off if you have a liver treat. You know, it's like, but it's the same with people. It's like, you know, for some people that, you know, as much as I like a Glock 19, like there's some people that fucking hate them, that just can't run them, and they don't like them, they don't work well for them, and that's fine.
yeah,
You know, I think it's there's a lot of parallels there, but
I think, my answer is always simple. It's like, get a fucking Glock 19. It's a great starter gun. You know, if you don't like that, get a SIG. If you don't like that, get a Smith & Wesson. I mean,
Yeah.
stick with a company that's built a reputation. Now, if you have the guy over there that works for, I don't know, fucking Ozark brand tactical, and he's making a shit out of his garage, and he says it's, you know, it's probably not what you want. You know,
Yeah.
those three brands I just named, I could give two shits which one you pick.
Yeah.
They're all fucking good.
Yeah.
They all work. And you know, just and save the aftermarket shit for later when you figure out why the fuck you even want any of that crap.
Yeah.
Which I don't. But
Yeah.
and you know, like, I think that I don't think I know this whole brand ambassador fucking promo code sponsor whores. Like, I think that has confused almost everybody in the fucking market.
Yeah.
On not just in the gun industry, but in every industry, because you have all these social media fucking celebrities or whatever the hell you want to call it, and it's like, use these sites, use this. Like, it's fucking sites, dude. Who gives a shit? Like, I could throw Trijicon up, right? Like the night sites, I could throw Trijicon up, a fucking Night Vision, Ameriglow, whatever. I could throw 20 fucking sites up, take the names off them, and give them to you. Are you gonna be able to pick which one? You know what I mean? Like, who gives a fuck, dude? It's a site. It glows in the dark.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who gives a shit what I don't even know what fucking brand I have.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, shooting, golf, fucking baseball, I mean, you know, whatever sport or skill set that you're talking about where you're using a tool, fuck, for that matter, guitar playing.
Yeah.
You know, you hand Tiger Woods a fucking $19 used set of Goodwill shitty fucking clubs. Guess what? He can still rock and roll with them.
He's still gonna whip your ass at golf.
Yeah, you know, you go into a pawn shop and get a fucking $60 piece of shit fucking, you know, pony model 20-year-old Fender Stratocaster that's been beat to shit, and hand it to Kirk Hammett. He'll string it up and fucking slay your ass with it.
Yep.
And to me, like guns, it's the same thing. Like, you know, people get so wrapped around the axle, and you don't see it as much in dogs. I mean, you do see some of it with this training vest and these fucking e-collars, or this, you know, fucking tactical vest, or this crate, or, you know, whatever. I mean, there certainly are some good products versus not, because it's a different animal, no pun intended, with the dog, and that it has to work. And, you know, the dog is going to let you know if it does or not. But there is even still some elements of that in this. But I mean, to me, the bottom line is, and I think shooting is as good of an example as any, is that, you know, there is an element of expertise and fundamentals that if you have that, the tool is almost irrelevant, you know.
Yep.
Can you give us the kind of the 30-second pitch on Vigilance Elite in terms of like, I've never met you. What do you do for a living? Can you like explain to the listener / viewer what you're all about?
Well, I do. Honestly, I don't even have a 30-second spiel. But what I do is I do very exclusive tactical training, primarily private lessons and private groups. I'm also a marketing. I mean, I just happen to be good at it. So another thing I really like to do is I like to find guys that are coming out of the community, trying to start something that maybe need a little exposure, and I got a lot of fucking exposure.
Yeah.
So I can go and kind of showcase a business and get them like launched. Yeah. You know, in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And
has that consulting thing kind of turned into a passion of yours?
I fucking love it, man.
Yeah.
You know, and one thing that sucks is people like, I've never taken a fucking payment. You know what I mean? Like, I do this shit because I want to fucking help people.
Yeah.
You know, I like helping people.
Yeah.
And I've helped a lot of people that never really fucking appreciated it, and that sucked. And then you get the audience, it's like, he's fucking getting paid to do that. I'm not getting paid to do shit. You know what I mean? I'm paying to fucking do that.
Yeah.
I pay for that foam crew. I pay for their fucking flights. I pay for my flight. I take time off from training where I'm not making money to go and showcase Jeff Reed, Frozen Trident.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? And because I want to see good people succeed.
Yeah.
I really do. And I wish there could be a way to get paid for that, but there isn't.
Well, there's this affiliate code program I'd like to tell you about.
Use my promo code.
Big
off.
Dick 15 and get 15% off. Back to the vigilance part of it. I know you moved to Tennessee and you bought a fucking badass property you're going to put a range on. Is that going to change? One, can you talk about that? And two, will that change you opening it up to maybe running courses or broadening your horizon in terms of who you teach, or are you going to keep it pretty fucking low level, high end client type?
I'm going to keep it. I'm gonna keep it very exclusive. So that's just what I like doing. And one thing I have learned in the business world is if you don't like what the fuck you're doing, you're not going to be any good at it.
Yeah.
So as soon as I start getting bored of something, I move.
Yeah.
And right now, what I like doing is I like training people that want to fucking learn and that are dedicated to doing it. Yeah. And not looking for the fake preppers.
Yeah.
You know, that are showing up with their body armor falling off of them and their fucking helmet sideways, and I don't even wear body armor or helmet. Yeah. You know, that's for
another
a
life.
crowd that I don't want to fucking be in. Yeah, I want to be in people that are serious, that want to fucking defend themselves and know that it's, you know, they're willing to pay to get the one-on-one. Yeah, and so anyways, the property is 109 acres, and it's got a cabin on it. It's gonna be extremely comfortable place to learn. I'll shoot a lot of my videos there. We'll be shooting next to a fucking waterfall.
Yeah, that's fucking badass. Bring the Swedish bikini team in.
Yep.
Have them in the waterfall.
Yep. But it won't be like this elaborate big training facility like fucking Blackwater. That's not a comfortable learning environment. That's a shit ton of bays with a bunch of fucking people blowing shit up and shooting tannerite. No, this will be 1 or 2 ranges that are fucking immaculate and just a really calm, quiet, relaxing place to learn how to do that and how to protect yourself.
Yeah.
And then another thing that I want to do with it is I want to give a marketing platform to guys because I mean, not to sound fucking cocky, but I can market.
Yeah.
And I want to create a package where I can fucking help launch guys.
Yeah.
Be like, come out here. I have the film crew. I have the range that's immaculate. You're not shooting into some fucking piece of shit dirt mound with weeds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Coming out of it, and 50 people in the bay next to you taking a course. It'll be, and I'm good at the production stuff.
Yeah.
And I can take a guy, give him suggestions, give him the film crew, get the editing done, all that shit, and then when he leaves, here's your package. This is how you use it.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see some guys coming out with some better success rates because, as much as I mean, they are my fucking competition, but I'm not really threatened by anyone.
Yeah. Well, I think too, there's a little bit of apples and oranges there, and that like you're doing what you're doing, but the marketing consultation piece, I think, and we'll talk more about it, I'm sure, afterwards, not to bore everybody, but to me, like, that's its own entity, business entity in and of itself that is probably worth exploring. But what does the next couple of years look like for you, just building both of those two things out? Is there anything else in the mix?
Apparel, actually, believe it or not. I want to do apparel, so I got some flannels coming out, and probably going to look a lot similar to this one.
Lumberjack Elite.
Yeah, but I'm going to hit the apparel hard, and I know not everybody can afford my services, so what I am going to do is I'm actually going to make an online training instructional course that's broken up into quick, down and dirty, no bullshit, no fluff, with a little bit of humor in it, segments on how to on fundamentals of shooting.
Yeah.
And for you ADD fuckers out there, they'll be like 5-minute segments or less probably. Yeah. So you're not sitting there watching fucking some fat fucking turd go on for 4 hours on how to fucking load a handgun. It'll be like, boom, this is how you do it. Throw some humor in it. Boom. Yeah. It'll be extremely affordable.
Yeah.
And they'll all be on the website.
Yeah.
So that's going to happen. And I can't wait till this John Wick shit comes out.
Yeah. Well, so speaking of that, I'm curious. I didn't realize that you had a hand in that. Fucking tell us about that. That's badass.
It was, I went out and trained. I did, so my YouTube thing kind of like, that was an accident. I didn't, I've just got to give you a little backstory to lead up to it. But the only reason I started doing YouTube videos is to answer fucking questions. Yeah. Because I can't stand sitting behind the computer and answering emails.
Yeah.
So I was like, I had a great idea. I'll make a video that explains what I do, and then nobody will have any more questions, right? Wrong. So anyways, one of the videos was an EDC pocket dump because
everybody asked you that shit.
Probably, I'll bet 100 times a day somebody asked me what kind of gun I'm carrying. So I made an EDC. That wound up getting 3.3 million views. I called out Taran Tactical mag extenders in that because it helps me get a full grip on my Glock 43.
Next thing you know, you got a Cadillac wrapped in Tarrant mag extender fucking advertisement showing up in your driveway.
Yeah, and I got invited to go down there, and I was like, you wanted to send me some shit. I was like, dude, I don't need any stuff. I think you got a great product, and I'm more than happy to support it. And I don't like talking to people. That was my way to get the fuck off Messenger and like, And they're like, well, why don't you come down here and make some videos? Fast forward, I wind up down there. There's a stunt girl trying out for, I think it was the Call of Duty game. And me and Taran were in the middle of making a video. He's like, hey, Sean, can you train, her name was Cecilia, in room clearance? And I'm like, I didn't really want to fucking do it, dude, at all. But I was like, yeah, fuck it, man. I can do it, And I'm like, hey, how long do you have? She's like, about 3 hours. I was like, and she goes,
No problem.
She goes, and it takes an hour to get there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy fuck, man. And so I hand her an M4, like an airsoft one, I think it was, and she didn't even know how to hold it, doesn't know how to load it, doesn't know where the safety is, nothing. I'm like, oh my God, you want me to fucking teach you how to fucking clear a room, and you don't even know how to, like, where the safety is on this thing? So I taught her how to hold it. It was a fake gun, so it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And taught her how to hold it, and I just fucking taught weapons flow. That's it. How to fucking cross the threshold. I'll be fucking damned. She went to her audition, and the fucking stunt coordinator goes, where the fuck did you learn that?
No shit.
I've never seen anybody audition like that, come in here and was like, where the fuck did you got the part, and where the fuck did you learn that?
No shit.
Yeah. And after like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. Taryn he's like, hey, remember that girl you trained yesterday? And I was like, yeah. He goes, she got the fucking part. And I was like, no shit. Well, that's badass. Like, I was like, fuck yeah, man, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And told me what they said. A couple days later, he's like, hey, Keanu Reeves is coming out here to train for John Wick 3. Do you think you could show him that? And I was like, yeah, fuck it. I don't care, man. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't really get starstruck. And I'm, to be honest with you, I'm not even I'd never even seen the movies. I was just like,
what was your name again?
Yeah. I was like, yeah, sure, man, whatever.
Yeah.
So next day shows up and it's like, Sean, you're on deck. Here we go. And
what kind of guy was he? I've heard a lot of good things about him, like him being almost the anti-celebrity in terms of how he carries himself and talks to people. What was your experience like with him?
I would say that's accurate. With that being said, I didn't have like a bullshit session. I was just like, well, I'm here to train this fucking guy. I didn't get paid for it, by the way. But
you're welcome.
I'm here to, yeah, you're welcome. But I was like, I'm here to train this guy. So it was pretty much strictly business. But when he showed up, I met him, and he's just like, I'm like, hey, what's up, dude? I'm Sean. And he's like, it's a beautiful day.
Like, listen, fucking weirdo.
Yeah, I was like, you're goddamn right it is. Go get your fucking guns. Let's get started. But so anyways, and after that, man, it was pretty much strictly business. But I wasn't expecting that. I was thinking it was going to be some fucking prima donna dickhead asshole.
Yeah, I've heard the exact opposite from a lot of people, that he lives way under his means and is just a super down to earth cool dude. I am curious. I've seen some videos, and I have to ask you, maybe you know, maybe you don't. I've seen a couple of videos of him on ranges. I don't know if that's where you were at and teach him. Maybe it was before then, but there was some discrepancy as to whether or not it had been sped up or if he was that fast. From your experience and seeing him and helping teach him, I'm assuming he was already at a fairly competent level compared to maybe what you were expecting, because he's already done it for 2 movies and all the fucking Matrix shit. I mean, he's done a lot of those types of movies. So what was your initial impression of his competency in terms of gun handling? And is he as competent as he looks in some of the videos I've seen with him?
He is.
Yeah. Like for real? Like you give him a loaded gun and say, this is what, like, let me answer that, and then I have a follow-up question.
Okay. Well, I did not actually, when I was with him, we never fired a round. We took the bolt out of the fucking M4 and ran with some those little SIRT pistols.
Yeah.
Because I was just teaching. I mean, there wasn't a kill house, so it was kind of like a makeshift fucking doorway.
Yeah.
But I did the same thing. It was weapons flow. But yeah, he can fucking shoot, and I can tell by the way he moves and how engaged. And I mean, the questions that he was asking were like very relevant.
Yeah.
So he definitely fucking knows his way around.
Yeah.
An AR-15 and a and a Glock.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Can you go into the quote unquote weapons flow, like what exactly that entails for the listener, like what you were teaching him and the lady, and just kind of what the gist of that is?
Yeah, I mean, basically what I was teaching him is clearing a room, clearing a house, like
As an individual?
as an individual,
Yeah.
which actually I'm a resident expert on, because at CIA, you're not running in a team,
Yeah.
So we had to do a lot of that. And so, yeah, it was basically 2-man room clearances. And I mean, going through doorways, breaking down and coming back up, and mid-gun and all that kind of shit.
Are you doing like pieing corners and shit?
Yep, both.
All that
Doing
kind of shit?
dynamic and I just had a brain fart.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck they call the other one. But yeah, dynamic and I can't fucking remember.
Static?
Nah, I can't even remember. But yeah, basically violence action versus slow and methodical.
Yeah.
And we did both scenarios with both rifle and pistol. And yeah, I mean, he was into it. He was very engaged.
Yeah. I know it's impossible to know, what a guy's fucking sack is like unless you've had it either A, in your hand, or you've gone to war with him. But I'm curious, from going through the selection with the CIA, your time in the teams, et cetera, do you think like shit hits the fan, like legit, like you could count on that guy, or is it impossible to answer just because of the nature of the fucking training was so fake?
I mean, that was impossible to answer, but
What does your gut tell you?
I think if he wanted to do it, I think he would be good, because he was extremely attentive.
Yeah.
And when I release the videos, you'll see that. Like
Yeah.
he was genuinely interested in what I had to put out, which makes me teach better.
Yeah.
When you can tell your client or
It's fired
student,
up.
whatever you want to call them, is very engaged and is enjoying what you're putting out,
Yeah.
then it gives you that warm and fuzzy that's like, oh man, I'm gonna make you fucking real good.
Yeah.
And he wanted to keep going. He was supposed to learn some shotgun shit after that, and he was like, I want to stick with this.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. That's fucking badass. Have you kept in touch with him at all since? Or?
Nah, I didn't even want to I mean, with a guy like that, I'm not trying to fucking kiss anybody's ass, and I know he's got everybody under the sun trying to fondle his fucking balls, and I'm just like, hey man, it was a pleasure to meet you. Fucking good luck with the movie, and if I see you again,
And
cool.
go
If I
fuck
don't,
yourself.
then I don't. So see you around.
Yeah. No,
Maybe. But
it sounds like overall it's a pretty good experience, though, huh?
yeah, it was cool, man.
Have you done more of that work for other actors, or you stick more to just the high-end clients?
I just stick with the high-end clients. And, I don't live in LA, and
Yeah.
I don't have a range out there. And I got a feeling that he's probably a one of a kind,
Yeah.
because
There's enough assholes.
Yeah. I don't do well with teaching fucking dickheads.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I fire them.
Yeah. Fuck, I hear you. What part of Tennessee are you in? Like how far is it from, say, Nashville?
45 minutes.
Oh, no shit. It's
Yeah.
like right the fuck outside then, huh?
Yeah, I'm in Franklin.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, fuck, that's, I can only imagine that with the amount of fame and country music, and it seems like a lot of people are fucking moving there, outside of the country music realm, just more like A-list assholes are almost going in droves to fucking Nashville, it seems like. But,
scares the fucking hell out of me.
yeah. It'd be fucking,
Every time I fucking meet another person from California, I'm like, oh, great.
here we go.
But here we go.
Little LA.
Yeah.
No, it's good. Good to hear all that shit. I'm fucking really, really stoked on the success you've had. Before we start to kind of wrap it up, one thing I do want to ask is, from a Second Amendment standpoint, broaching into the political side for just a minute, school shootings is a huge fucking hotbed topic that gets a lot of attention, even though percentage-wise, like, it's, a blip on the fucking radar in terms of how many people get killed outside the realm of natural causes. But I'm still curious to get your take. People ask, what is the solution to that? What is your take on that?
I think they need training. But don't get me wrong, I don't think they need gun training. I think they need. I think they need a fucking plan. And I might bite my words for saying this, but I don't think fucking arming teachers is the answer. I don't think teaching kids how to fucking do tourniquets is an answer, or teaching like any fighting. I mean, I just think that there are a lot of people with our background that are fucking coming into these schools and they're trying to teach all this and they don't realize it's a kid you're talking to. That's a teacher, man. You know what I mean? They're not a war fighter. They don't want to be a war fighter. And you give people guns that don't need guns, bad shit happens. It can be more, I think there could be more harm than good with that. I think they need to learn shit like, what is a fatal funnel? Don't stand in a fucking doorway, or just come up with a plan, I don't think guns is the answer.
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't think tactical training is the answer.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to, spend the money on arming teachers, and arming teachers, do you know how it is. You don't use it, you lose it. And a teacher that doesn't want a fucking gun is not going to practice or know what the fuck they're doing when the time comes. Yeah. And you can't make somebody learn something they don't want to learn.
Sure. Well, and to me, the ultimate reality of that is that you again, I use dogs as an example, or even guys like us, is that it's like saying, okay, there's 200 dudes that show up at Buds, all 200 of them need to graduate.
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to happen. Like, well, make it happen. Well, you can't fucking make it happen. Teaching teachers and kids and administrative staff and all of that, how to handle a fucking hell-bent, fucking hopped up on psychotropic drugs, fucking goon, trying to get into a school and cause mass carnage. Like, yeah, I agree with you. To me, the simple answer, at least not delving into the societal issues of what's creating people that are willing to go do that. That's a whole nother fucking episode, frankly. But to me, the simple answer, the cheapest, fastest, and most, I would say, manageable fucking mode of staving off these types of attacks is frankly fencing. As much of a hotbed topic as the border wall is. People that say that walls don't work, I want to fucking punch you in the face. To me, if you put a fence, a fencing system similar to what is around fucking prisons around every fucking school, like, well, I don't want to fucking make our schools look like prisons. Tough shit. Like, would you rather have them be shot up?
Yeah.
To me, having not one way in, one way out, but two ways, one on a back side of a building and one on a front side, or one on sides, whatever, is that you can put the building between the two entrances and exits. There's enough of a standoff to where, if somebody pulls up in a truck, unless it's a fucking Ryder van with 4,000 pounds of explosives, then you're fucked either way. But have enough of a standoff to where it's not 3 feet from the fucking building, again, similar to a prison. And you've got one gate on one side and one gate on the other side that's fucking open during bringing students in, and there's people there fucking making sure the flow of who's coming in and out is secure. And once everybody's in, it's fucking locked. If the building burns down, there's enough dead space to where you can get out, and be outside of the school and not fucking be burned alive. To me, that is the answer. That's going to stop fucking 99% of those people. Like, can you drive a fucking vehicle through some of them? Yeah. But it severely, I think, limits the amount of fucking people if you've got fence with fucking rows of concertina wire at the top of it. And it's, heavily reinforced with big drill pipe type fucking posts every fucking 6 feet or whatever. That in and of itself is going to stop most anybody that wants to try to get in there, and it's relatively simple cost effectiveness. It's still cheaper than hiring 2 dudes for a year.
Yeah.
That's
when after Parkland happened, I reached out because I actually have like a whole thing ready.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey man, I called the superintendent, the fucking school board, blah, blah, blah. And
Nothing.
nobody wanted to take me up. And
Yeah.
I was like, I will give it to you for free.
Yeah.
I was like, but you know what, Mike, is like, nobody wants to address a fucking problem. What they want to do is they want to fucking use this shit for their political fucking
I
agenda.
want to blame somebody.
And it's like, look, and I sent an email. I did a mass email actually, and it was like, here's what we know. Put your political agenda fucking aside. What the fuck are you going to do right now to fucking make your school safe? It can't be construction. You can't fucking do a fence. It's got to go through approval. Somebody's got to approve the funding, blah, blah, blah. I have a fucking thing I can give you right fucking now. Nothing.
What's the gist of that? Can you?
I'm going to put it in a book eventually. But, yeah.
So to be continued.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good shit. I mean, I to me that proactivity is number one. Like, you got to do something about it.
Yeah.
You can't fucking bury your head in the sand and just hope shit goes away. But again, we could talk about that all fucking day. So what we've talked a little bit about what you're doing moving forward. Anything else that you can add in terms of what you've got going on, what you can advertise for yourself, and ultimately where people can find you?
I mean, the only other thing we got going on is, other than what we talked about before, is I'm going to start switching up the videos, and it'll be more stuff out of the gun world than in the gun world, to be honest. I'm really trying to get on this program that these guys are fighting these sex traffickers, and I really want to promote them. We're kind of talking about it. Hopefully it happens. I don't know. But anyways, people, you can find me at Vigilance Elite or at Sean Ryan 762 on Instagram, but Vigilance Elite across the board.
So if people listening want to come do private lessons with you, what's the best way to get a hold of you, either for private lessons or any of the things that you're offering, marketing or whatever, any of the things that we've talked about?
The best way is to go to the website, vigilanceelite.com, email through the website. My assistant will get it, and then she will get you on the schedule. If you hit me through Instagram or Vigilance or Instagram or Facebook or
No
YouTube
DMs.
or anything else, I'd love to say I could get to you, but you know how it is. There's so many messages, it's fucking impossible to answer them all. So I may not. If you really want an answer, you got to email through the website.
Yeah. Amen. Anything else that you want to share before we start to wrap it up here?
I just want to say, you're a really good looking motherfucker.
Tell me something I don't know, Sean.
Thanks for having me.
It's the
man.
first time I've heard that, actually.
It was a real pleasure.
No, dude, I appreciate you coming down here. I know you're busy as fuck, and especially on the heels of Scott A. Wirtz. Respect, rest in peace to him and his family, and the fact that you made time to come down right after that is it means a lot to me and the listeners and everybody. So I appreciate the hell out of you coming.
Thank you.
Before we wrap it up, couple house cleaning things I want to mention real quick. I'm going to do it if you're listening or watching on YouTube. The Trico CBD oil, it comes in human flavors now. It's 500 milligram. You got the key lime pie for full spectrum and the lemon lime for isolate. Both of them taste good enough to where I would put it in my own ass. What? Anyway, it's good stuff. We do also have the chicken liver in 200 milligram. And it's fucking great. Go to tricosupplements.com to check it out. All the benefits are on there. I'm not going to drone on about it, but there's a host of them. We use them on the dogs here. I use it myself, and it's great shit. A couple other things that are coming up, as always. If you have a dog, go to teamdog.pet and sign up for the online training. People ask all the time how they can help support or what can I do. That's the best way. Go there, get it. If you have a dog, pull your head out of your ass. It's $99 for a year, unlimited. It's a total resource. There's forums, there's vet stuff. We've now got a certification program where you can get basic obedience, advanced obedience is coming soon, behavioral modification, and the True Foundations course, as well as in the next probably month or so, or by this airs, it may even be out by then, but canine first aid and canine CPR certifications will be available on the website. I encourage you, if you are a wag walker, a rover employee, you work at a shelter, you dog sit, or you're just a good fucking dog owner that doesn't want to see your dog have something shitty happen to it, I encourage you to take those courses and get certified. It's a good feather in the cap, and that's across the board. That's all the certifications. One thing that I'm also excited to announce, we're going to be doing a Tricos trainer certificate. The other ones are for each of the courses. This one is an all-encompassing actual certification for Tricos trainer. That's coming down the pipe real soon, so be on the lookout for that. Tricos training franchises are going to be opened up real fucking soon. We've already gotten a ton of people asking for info on that. I encourage you to just, we'll announce it on social media when it actually drops, and be able to send you a licensee franchise contract here very soon. But for those of you that want to get involved in that, just be on the lookout for that. We have the Tricos collar and leash combo that's going to be coming through rayallen.com. That should be available by the time this is airing. Again, rayallen.com, Tricos leash, Tricos collar, super overbuilt, really good shit product that we developed with Working Dog Dry Goods a couple of years ago, and now Ray Allen is manufacturing it the way that they do really well. We've got some dog food and dog treats coming out of Munster. That'll be dehydrated food and treats. Their specific formula that I developed with them that will be available real shortly. And a few other things as well. We've got the Tricos crate, which should be out also by the time this airs, which is with Dakota 283, the Tricos crate. That is one that I developed with them over the last couple of years as well, that I'm actually really excited about it. It's a crate that, if you have a dog, buy this fucking crate, because the dog can't get out of it. And we've all had the ass eaters that eat their way or pull the door out of a fucking metal wire crate or whatever. This crate is built for the military in terms of the spec with which it's fucking overbuilt is pretty impressive. So I encourage you to check that out. Any other products that I'm missing?
No.
Well, you heard it, folks. No other products that I'm missing. So as always, I want to thank Sean, our guest, for coming. It's I'm always humbled at the willingness for the caliber of guests that we have to come here. I really appreciate you spending the time. Last but certainly not least, you, the listener, choke yourself. There, I threw it in there. Thank you sincerely for all the support that you give us. The popularity or success or magnitude with which I am humbled, frankly, by the show of support for you guys listening episode after episode and getting all the feedback on iTunes and whatever is really fucking humbling. It really is. And I know a lot of people say that and they don't really mean it. I truly mean that. I would never have guessed in a million years that I'd be sitting in this position to be given a platform to be able to interview awesome men like Sean and other patriots for this country and people with amazing stories and be able to bring that to you guys in the manner in which we do. And I am truly forever grateful to be able to do that for you guys. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that. On that note, thanks for everything. I look forward to seeing you next time. And until that next time, this is Mike Drop.